You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
They confuse us with so much life. Not even thinking that we would realize. And if we criticize, we could be ostracized. We don't know who to trust. That's why I say, Lord, please listen to this prayer that comes from before. Please send us another Moses again. Oh, we just can't go on this way.
Do not categorize the blessing by colors. It is not the colors you need to watch. It is the character. Watch out for the character. I'm going to tell you, there are three basic types of people that you will interact with if you are a child of destiny. Can I share this with you? The first group are confidants. Confidants. You will have very few of them. Confidants are those people in your life who love you unconditionally. They are into you. Whether you're up or down, right or wrong, they are into you. They are in for the long haul. If you get in trouble, they get in trouble with you. They'll come see you in the jailhouse. They'll come get you out the crack house. They're confidants. You can open up and share anything with them. You'll never inherit your kingdom until you find your confidant. You can't be David till you find your Jonathan. Having a good confidant is the key that unlocks the kingdom, because you were raised outside the gate and God's going to cause you to reach over the wall. You got to have a confidant behind the wall who can mentor you for what God is going to do next in your life. The problem with most people is that everybody they run around with is under them. And so you are forever feeding people who can't feed you. And after years of feeding them, they begin to drain you. You've got to have somebody who can feed you so you can feed somebody else. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying. Am I talking to anybody in here? You need the confidant then. The confidant is those few people that come along in your life that are for you. They are with you. They are intimately intertwined in your life. They are there to make sure that you reach your destiny. They will confront you. They will get in your face. They will get in your business. They will tell you when you're wrong because they are confidants. If you have 2 or 3 of them in a lifetime, you are a blessed person. Without them, you'll never be who God called you to be. You need to find your confidant. Number 2, the other group are your constituents. They are not into you. They are into what you are for. They are for what you are for. They are your constituents. And as long as you are for what they are for, they will walk with you and work with you and labor with you, but never think that they are for you. They are for what you are for. And you have to know that, because if they meet somebody else that will further their agenda, they will leave you and hook up with them, because they were never for you. They were just for what you were for. They are your constituents. And throughout your life, if you're not careful, particularly if you're broken, you will mistake your constituents for your confidants. And you will think that they are for you when they are really not for you. They are just for what you are for. And by the time you get to falling in love with them, they will break your heart as they hook up with somebody else who is for what you are for, because it was never about you anyway. It was about the causes that you represent. They are for what you are for, but they are not for you. They are your constituents. Can I go deeper with this? The third group are your comrades. These people are not for you. nor are they for what you are for. It is just that they are against what you are against. And the comrades will make strange bedfellows. This will cause people to come together who are not for you, and they are not for what you are for, but they are against what you are against. And they will team up with you to help fight a greater enemy. But don't be confused by their associations. They will only be with you until the victory is accomplished. These people are like scaffolding. They come into your life to fulfill a purpose. And when the purpose is complete, the scaffolding is removed. But don't be upset when they are removed, because the building always remains when the scaffolding is removed. What I'm saying to you, my brothers and sisters, expect the constituents and the comrades to leave you and desert you after a while. Don't be upset when they don't react to your dream the way you expected them to, because they were never really with you in the first place. Be careful then who you tell your dream to, because if you tell your dream to your constituents, they will desert you and try to fulfill the dream without you. If you tell it to your comrades, they won't support it because they never were for what you were for anyway. If you find a few people in your entire life with whom you can share your dream with, you are a blessed somebody. I can tell you how to identify people who are really for you. If they are really for you, they will weep with you when you weep, and they will rejoice when you rejoice. When you walk in a room and you tell somebody good news, stop being happy for a minute and watch their reaction. If they're not happy for you, shut your mouth and walk back out of the door. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying to you. Oh yeah, because when they are really connected to you, they will be happy for you when you share your dream. Find somebody, look them in the eye and say, are you happy for me? If you don't get the right reaction, don't tell them anything else. You need somebody who's really going to be happy for you. I don't want just anybody praying for me. I don't want none of them haters praying for me, because you know you hate me and you don't want me to succeed. I want somebody praying for me who really wants me to be blessed, who wants me to be an overcomer, so you can put up your oil and stop speaking in tongues, because you know you never did speak to me anyway, and ain't no need in you coming up here in this hospital like you gonna pray some cancer up off of me. I'd rather have somebody who really loves me lay across the bed and rebuke the devil. And God is so faithful, he'll always give you somebody. Oh, if he ever sent anybody into your life to help you, you ought to just clap your hands and thank him for the people he sent. Don't worry about the people he took. You ought to praise him for the people he sent. Tell somebody, say, somebody help me. I didn't get here by myself. Somebody helped me to get here. Somebody taught me how to stand. Somebody got me behind the gate. Somebody taught me the protocol of the pilot. Somebody encouraged me when I felt like dropping out of school. Somebody helped me when my back was up against the wall. Somebody mentored me when I was going through a divorce. Somebody helped me when I was going through a crisis. God is so faithful that he will never leave himself without a witness. He will send somebody.
You get up one morning, your elders have something, you don't know how they get it, but you want to use it. But if you ask them old people to get the things what they went through, ask them this any day, and your parents sure to say, black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're able to get a pulley and jam with the devil. Why? Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're ready to swim offshore and hold your boat steady. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you hear you get a little something with that dragon eye, you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man will get nothing easy. say you get up one morning, and oil money running. How it come you don't know, so that it care how the thing go. But if they read about Uriah, they wanna find out the pressure. How we get so much old hell to get a penny from TLL. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to take up your own cash money, pay people for your own refinery. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind to be a magician, to make money out of scrap iron. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you hear you get a little something, with that eagle eye you keep watching, because I don't tell you already, black man don't get nothing easy. I say we got up one morning, independence happening. They think the thing come easy, now they're taking liberty. But if they know about petition, we have to send to England for some woman to tell we in this colony free. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to go to conference in England to get independence in your own land. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. People hold you, humiliate you, turn on and sell you, and then they free you. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you hear you get a little something, with that dragon eye you keep watching, because I don't tell you already, black man don't get nothing easy. So when a black man gets something, he got to start thinking. You get it easy. He got to practice economy. From getting licks from the slave master to become the landowner. Brother, it's a terrible journey, packed with plenty brutality. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to rise up, you got to stand up, pick up your mind, you will always stay on top. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to go to conference in England to get independence in your own land. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to take up your own cash money, pay people for your own refinery. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind to be a magician, to make money out of scrap iron.
Keep me as the apple of thine eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wing. O Lord, my Savior. It's so hard to deal with personal struggle. So sad when you feel alone in your trouble. It's real hard when you want to talk to a brother. It's so bad because of how some look at you after. So Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover my head. Satan want me dead. Cover my back from human attack. So Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. People see you smile, but don't know the hurt that you're feeling. Even as God's child, at times your heart does be bleeding. Where can you go when you're really looking for healing? Who know how to flow when your soul needs some restoring? So Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me home from evils unknown. Cover my feet so I'll never retreat. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me brother, cover me sister, them who under pressure. Cover the preacher, every church worker, the young believer. Cover the worship leader and intercessor, every gospel minister. Cover. Jesus alone is the one who has the real answer. The one on the throne is the true and loving Father. He will hold your hand and keep you from going under. He will make you stand and let you know he's a fixer. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it, Jesus. Cover me while you fix it, Jesus. Cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it, Jesus. Cover me while you fix it, Jesus. Cover me. Cover me mind. You know the struggle sometimes. Cover me mouth, that the wrong thing wouldn't come out. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it, Jesus. Cover me. Cover the Christian in the midst of aggression with the power of your right hand. Jesus, cover them helpless children. Jesus, defend them. Send help from heaven. Jesus, cover all them radio stations that blessing the nation. Grant divine protection. Jesus, cover me.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters.
Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners, of course, ladies and gentlemen. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I know we always say it here in the village. We originate, we don't imitate. Doesn't matter what color t-shirt you have on a purple t-shirt, a burgundy t-shirt. Doesn't matter what color t-shirt you have on, a mauve t-shirt. Each and everyone is welcome. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we always say no matter what planet you're from Mazatanius, Venuranius, Sunuranius. Each and everyone is welcome in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And of course, you know how we start the program. Let's go.
It have our place, WZYE, where they treat you like friends and family. So if you're looking for a place to belong, going WZYE, you could come along. If you have haste, come with me. We have DAT on WZYE, Santa Meditate.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Let me bring in 1/3 of the DAT Triplets. No other than my good pal that went to school in Palo Seco. Yes, the field in Palo Seco is no longer habitable or can be played in. But he went there. He went all the way from Marabella. Yes, by way of Salibe or Salibia. Some say Salibia, some say Salibe. Who used to have one of the best carnival all-inclusive at some point in time. Yeah, I used to go there. No other than the one and only Thomas E., the commissioner in Newark, Marshall Nisbet. Come here.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm your pal from Palo Seco.
Yeah. My good buddy from Palo Seco.
So what's going on today?
What's going on today?
How you feeling?
Today's a splendiferous day. We had a return of FIFA Vice President, former Minister of National Security, former Minister of Work, no other than Jack Warner. That was a big deal.
Austin Jack Warner.
Austin Jack Warner, yeah. And I know people want to look at many things that Jack Warner did. There are things that, Tommy, I don't know if you remember, right? I used to have a sports program in a radio station here at one time. I used to call it Slim in the Gym. Yeah. Slim in the Gym.
That's nice. I like that. That got a nice hook, nice ring.
Yeah, it was a nice ring, and I used to have, you remember Beck? Yeah,
I don't remember Beck.
Right, Beck was one of my loyal calls. Beck used to call every single. I used to be on Tuesdays.
What became of Beck?
Beck in I think in Virginia or Washington, some of them places.
Yes.
Yeah. Beck was one of my loyal listeners. And we used to go back and forth because we used to talk sports, man, all kind of sports.
Yeah, Beck
and I used to. Yeah, I mean, I was a full supporter of Jack Warner, 100%. And the reason why I support Jack Warner, Tommy, is one main reason. And that time I worked on Wall Street, Tommy, and the makeup of the company that you work for, there weren't significant amount of people that look like me. I'll put it that way. And when I look at a FIFA World Cup final and I see Jack Warner standing on the podium, part of handing out the World Cup, I say, boy, Trinidad and Tobago have a person there and they don't know what they have, right? In spite of all the other things, people want to say, they talk about the Soca Warriors and the money issue and the Haiti issue. But Tommy, I want to say this, if the US had gotten that World Cup, I don't ever think Jack Warner would have been in the predicament that he is in today.
And everybody who's thinking knows that to be a fact. That the whole thing is based on the fact that they felt slighted.
Tommy, You agree with me too quick there, man. I thought you would have given
No,
me a
well,
little pushback.
no, but we know that most people who thinking knows that.
No, Tommy, not many of them people in Trinidad, you know.
Well, you got to
They don't
remember,
understand that, you know.
Trinidad politics is down and dirty, yeah. So it's the politics that got their minds where it is and got their vision skewed. And hey, it's Trinidad. Trinidad is a different kind of place where the politics dominate everything.
Yeah, Tommy,
The
that's how
US,
the thing goes. Yeah, Tommy,
maybe
a lot
US,
of
if the US got that World Cup,
Jack
you know,
would have been Jack would have been in no problems. None.
he'd have been
None.
a star.
He would have been a superstar. You understand? But what people in Trinidad and Tobago do understand, FIFA is one of the few organizations in the world that they was a law unto themselves.
They like the Vatican.
Correct is right. Correct is right. See, Tommy, you come, you're shooting, you're 18 sixes all out of the gate today, but yeah, they
Well,
like the Vatican. You understand? And Tommy, I always say this. In order to be part of FIFA, you have to be able to play the FIFA game.
that's it.
And it's all a game. And if you can't play that game, you're not supposed to be part of FIFA.
You know, the thing is that they taught Jack Warner the game. He didn't go in knowing the game.
You learn the game.
That's right.
And he became very, very good at it.
And he's a bright man.
Listen, that CONCACAF region was a small set of people, but very, very powerful.
Absolutely.
CONCACAF. And Jack Warner was the president of CONCACAF. Now, there are some who say, yes, you know, Jack didn't deal with the Soca Warriors, correct? Yeah, that's true. Right? He could have done better by them. You understand? And I wouldn't say otherwise. You know, but you can't take away from the things that he have accomplished.
Because he got the Soca Warriors to the World Cup.
Tommy, correct is right, Tommy. I was right there, Tommy, in Germany, boy. I never forget that. That go down in history, boy. And we haven't even gotten close since then. So, you know, people want to look at the politics in Trinidad and Tobago, and we're going to play some things when he called out a young lady by name Julia Davy.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah, and then he called out Stuart Young. It's about time somebody called out Stuart Young. You understand? Because he'll be calling out people left, right, and center. Right? They take somebody outside of the PNM in order to call out Stuart Young. Well, I mean, we called him out here, of course. You know? And then Jack called out Marvin Gonzalez, which was very funny. We did it. You know, but Tommy,
He called him out for the red card.
Yeah?
He called him out for the red card.
Yeah, he called him up for the red card, and Jack looked like he gave him 2 red cards. You know? So I think that the Tommy, do you think the political scene have passed by Jack Warner?
You know, I always say once there's life, there's hope. Especially if you have all your faculties. And he seems to have all his faculties. So, I mean, we know he's a senior, maybe very senior, but in the political arena, we have also recognized the fact that those with a lot of experience are very valuable players. So for that reason, I'll say that he's still relevant.
Tommy, hold on, let's take this call. Hello, you're on WZYE 95.9 FM.
Yeah, hi, this is Boston here in the house. Michael Buckle in Boston here.
How you doing?
I'm okay. How is your day? How is the show's going?
Everything is going fantastic. Talk to us.
Yeah, I call in about listen to Mr. Warner. You know, it's embarrassing what's going on with Trinidad and Tobago politics. It's very embarrassing. You know, because no one talking about what they want to do for Trinidad and Tobago for the youth. Nobody. Up to now, I hear nobody really talking positive thing, what they want to do for the youth or what they want to do for Trinidad and Tobago. You know? And all they do is calling people names and like if it's a it's like the copy in America slightly or maybe. And what you have to say about that remarks, what is he call her the Caribbean for Mandela? Yeah? How we could class that woman in that category? Yeah? What do you have to say about that, Mr. Lobot?
I think it's all politics. I think it's all politics. It's all gamesmanships and politics. That's the way it is. I mean, when you look at the politics of the day, you look on the other side of the spectrum. I mean, Dr. Rowley get a PhD from Howard University. You know? Yeah, he got a PhD from Howard University. So if Jack wanna make that comparison, I think it's politics on the Huskins. What do you think, Tommy?
I kind of find it's like apples and oranges. It doesn't align because she hasn't she hasn't endured what Nelson endured. She wasn't victimized by the system. First to begin, and secondly, she didn't spend a whole lot of time in exile.
But I don't disagree with that, Tommy. But I feel that Jack Warner decided he had to make a bang, and he wanted to make an entry. And I mean, he thought about that before he said it. I don't think he just said that I don't think he made that up on the platform.
I don't think he really thought it out because it's like belittling Mandela to compare her to Mandela. Regardless of go ahead.
I said she can put her shoes close to Mandela number one. Class to put her shoes. For him to put them in the same sentence. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And if you want to take it a step further, how our country is already with Indians versus Negro people. It is what it is 100. We know our country, how it is already. Who have the money, who don't have the money, who working with who, and that's what's going on with Trinidad and Tobago. But to say that as a black man, what you thinking of saying as a black man to an Indian lady who 45% or 40% is black? It's man, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I don't even think the Indian and African analogy holds any or bears any credibility when it comes to the analogy. I believe because Mandela can be compared to someone like Gandhi somewhat, but or even King, but I don't think Kamala is a good comparison for Mandela.
I don't disagree with that, but I think that Jack was looking to get political mileage, and you know exactly what he was doing. And you know exactly what he was doing. And Jack Warner, as a matter of fact, when we gave the phone, we called Jack Warner and see if he pick up the phone. And we can ask him. We'll ask him. You know, I think Jack knew he was looking for political mileage, and I think Jack got political mileage that he was looking for. Because the whole talk today was Jack.
Yeah, well, that's the idea because there's no such thing as bad press, especially in a political arena.
There we go. There's nothing as bad press. So I just think that he wanted to make a bang, and he was successful.
He became relevant.
He became relevant again. So there you have it. He's relevant now, Puckin. He's relevant. He made himself relevant, and he put himself back into the political atmosphere.
And you know, as I say again now, he's doing that now. How old is Jack Warner? How old Jack Warner is?
I think they say he's 81 or 82.
Right, 81, 82 now. You tell me now, okay? You doing this here now for something because you was in an organization, FIFA organization, which is they have control the world with FIFA, control the world. They don't pay taxes in no country. They own all government places. They own everything when FIFA in your country, number one. And you was the vice president of FIFA, president of CONCACAF. You know all the tricks in the book. And now you want to come to have a position in politics in my country, Trinidad and Tobago, to do what at 81 years old? You need to get a hammock and go and chill out and relax yourself and spend the money that you rob all national players. I'll give you an example what Mr. Jack Warner did when Pele came to Trinidad. And I'm talking from players like Spanner, who play on the team. Stayed the oval sells out by 9:30. Full. Pele play, everybody was happy. What Trinidad players get? $200 kitty and a box of Royal Castle. And you gone, Mr. Jack Warner, gone with all this money. You tell me now. These Trinidad national players who play for Trinidad under Jack Warner never get a salary when you reach up a month like that. And you want to come back in the phone. For Trinidad, you had opportunity to help this country to do everything. We play in the ASL League. He stopped that league. Tell the players, because I play in that league. He stopped the league out of street because they said none of the players who play in that league will represent Trinidad. And it was the best of the footballers playing that league. And you're representing your country. You tell us we cannot play because we have the own league. Which you have to give and take because you want to control Trinidad and Tobago sports soccer players, you know. And Jack is not a nice person. He's not. He shouldn't be in politics. No way. Not even close. He shouldn't be in politics. No way. But this talk for another talk. I don't want to get into politics because I just do it to share, of course, I'm a Trinidadian and Trinidad and Tobago citizen. And I love my country. And, you know, what you're doing here, after I praise you, after I tell you everything, you're doing something very good. And I appreciate you, man. You never beat me in a race. You know how to train that.
Don't start to talk about no race, brother.
I don't take the first spot before it's my one against your one now. So I didn't hit it before you hit me. You know that I'm one of the few athletes that represent Trinidad and Tobago, you know, all over the world. And like I supposed to say, you know, Trinidad is, as I say, is a nice place. People want to say it's not a nice place, it's a nice place, but just the right leaders. And our biggest problem is having the right leaders. We can't, up to now, in everything. You have Minister of Sports. What sports, let me start. I just want to call in and just say my little 2 cents, Mr. Lover.
All right, man. We appreciate the call.
Yeah, you know, because you know you're doing a good job, and I actually when you come back home, Next year we're going up for mobile lab until I want it to be immense stuff. I want you to take Mr. How you call him again? Mr.
Phil
Trickster Harry.
Geraldine. Phil Geraldine.
Phil Geraldine. I want you to, I want you to get, you know, because when you show me that soccer field, that sports field, that basketball court, I will come back to that day. It hurt me to see that. And you have people looking for work, youths looking for jobs, and you have a school like that, and gotta go and practice in another school in this time here. No. Can't happen. It's sad.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Okay, my brother. See you. Have
Take
a
care.
blessed one,
All
first
right.
man, and the next one.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Okay, my brother. Take care.
Thank you.
All opinions and views expressed by the program participants, including those on social media, are solely their opinions and views and do not reflect the opinions and views of WZYE management and staff.
I'm going to get back to that. Nadia says, good afternoon, everyone. Nadia was first in. Nadia says, good night, Anselm. I get red and blue emojis. Yeah. You say good night, Tommy.
Good night, my dear.
Tommy fill you up. You get red emojis, Tommy. Good night, Diana Benskin. Yeah. Good night to Keisha, Lana, Judy, Rose, Denise G, Capiza, Miss Hoover. Good night, everyone. Good night to Albert, Rennie, Ken, Bonnie, Capiza, Ellis, Troy, Rajvi. Okay, Nadia also go back to her daughter's phone. Good evening, afternoon, everyone. Anselm, good night. Yeah, Risha. Good night to you and your mother. Bonnie Roberts, welcome. Good evening, Nadia, Visha, Takesha, Joan, Haley. Not forgetting the storm, wishing God blessings. Tommy and Anselm, good night. Keep being an independent thinker. Continue the good work. And for Anselm, very good contribution regarding Jack Horner. He's better known than Rowley. Bonnie, oh God. No, I mean, it's never, we all, Albert, I'm presently in your country. Hey, Albert, Bonnie in your country, boy. Yeah, Bonnie said, I wonder if Jack was PNM today. If those PNM fanatic scholars at 91.9 will have saying all disrespectful things about him. Sure not. They would have been defending him. Yeah, they would have been defending him. I mean, Senator Obika went from UNC to PNM. Julia Davy went from PNM to UNC to PNM. So I mean, listen, you know, people decide to do what they want, and then decide to change, and then they decide to change back, right? But at the end of the day, right, you know, there is 10% of things we do in life, you know, that we regret. I'm sure many of us, at least there's a 10% that in life that we do that we regret. But you take the 10%, you know, and make that overwhelm the 90% of good things that you have done. You know, that's it.
Anyway, what Chucky said, this thing called PNM.
Yeah. This thing called yeah.
One set of notations. The Mama Guy, you want.
Rennie Mohammed says, respect to the panel, Mr. Walls, Lady Diana, Mr. Tommy.
Respect, Rennie.
Yeah. He says, sending out spectacular, fabulous, tremendous love to all the ladies. Yeah. Then Rennie says, blowing like the wind, love takes you and carry you for a spin. Don't be preoccupied and too busy. Love could pass you by, leaving you dismayed and dizzy. Love is a beautiful concept, always waiting for you to accept. Yeah,
All right, Rennie.
That is a pretty good one.
All right, Rennie, all right.
Blowing like the wind, love take you and carry you for a spin. Don't be preoccupied and too busy. Love could pass you by, leaving you dismayed and dizzy. Love is a beautiful concept, always waiting for you to accept. Yeah.
Agree. I want to agree.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. Miss Kuva, good night. Yeah, good night, everyone in the village. Blessings, and remember, don't tote vote. What? Miss Kuva using the UNC slang, boy. Don't tote vote, boy. So we only have a part two. When I look around, I see people of all color, creed, and races. I see equality and friendly faces. Together we live and laugh under the sun. Love goes out to my bros and sis as we live as one. Yeah. That's a good one too. When
What
I look
many
around, I
practice
see
making
people of
perfect?
all color, creed, and races. I see equality and friendly faces. Together we live and laugh under the sun. Love goes out to my brothers and sisters as we live as one. Full 100, full 100.
Mm.
Let me say a special welcome to our young lady in St. Vincent. She has a program, Good Morning St. Vincent, and she said St. Vincent in the village, just as Paul Williams. And Paul,
What's her name? Paul Williams.
yeah, Paul Williams. She's a transplanted Trinbagonian.
Hey,
And
Paul.
yeah. Paul should be bringing her morning program to WZYE soon. And before we do that, we're gonna have her in as a guest, in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. So Paul, welcome. She has a program called Good Morning SVG, and Paul gonna be joining us soon. Trinidad Margot, good night.
Not Trini. Margot.
Ronnie Roberts say, is something wrong? Oh, I'm switching to Douglas politics. Okay.
Douglas politics.
Yeah, Douglas
All
politics.
right.
All right. K. Stevens, good night. Good night to you. Yeah.
Like,
Right, Paul. We see you in the village, Paul. Welcome. Curtis Montrechard, welcome. My good friend JB Harper, welcome. You're inside. JB Harper is a good friend of mine. Yeah. Margaret Ganesh, welcome. Hey, look,
Margaret
Troy Smith
Nish.
come back, boy. Troy Smith come back. Your wife gave me his phone again. Bless good night to Ansem, Tommy, and Diana.
Good night,
JB,
Troy.
JB Harper,
Margaret,
good evening to you.
is Margaret Ganesh somebody new?
I think Margaret been here before. Margaret, are you new? Margaret might be new, I think.
If you're new, welcome to the village.
Yeah. And also, folks, I think Paul been here before. Paul been here before, right? Good morning, SVG. Or is this the first time? Paul, have you been here before?
That's what I'm seeing now.
Margaret said no. Margaret is new then. Margaret says she hasn't been here before. So Margaret, welcome.
Welcome to the
Yeah.
village. Welcome to the village.
Welcome to the village. I know JB Harper been here before. Welcome as well.
Yeah, JB Harper.
Oh yeah. She was here before. Yeah. Let's welcome Diana. Hi Diana, how are you?
Hey, hi everybody. What's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on, Storm?
Yeah.
There's a storm up in my neck of the woods, man.
It reached up there already. I guess we had our
Yeah,
shut down.
yeah, boy. I mean, lightning. It sounded like a whole car with a whole muffler outside, boy. Ah, like the lights went. The lights went for a moment. So I was there, just sitting, waiting.
So
Yeah.
Margaret says she has been here before, and Paul also have been here before.
I have seen those names in the past.
So welcome. And folks, we want to do, who's going to be joining us? Dr. Shane Mohammed is going to join us too. And what we're going to do, when we go, we're going to go to the break. And when we come back from the break, we're gonna try to see if we could get Jack Warner. Now, we didn't book Jack Warner or anything. Well, guys know how we do it. We're just going to call him, see if he's going to pick up the phone. If he's going to pick up the phone, he's going to try to talk with him. It's just that simple. Right? Ain't no big deal. We're gonna try him and see what it is. So Paul gonna also kind of tell us what's going on in St. Vincent, because we had that drive-by shooting now in St. Vincent. We had that happened I think last week, and it seemed like
Where was this now?
in St. Vincent.
Oh yeah.
They had a drive-by.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean things are happening, in the Caribbean. I think when you look at St. Vincent, the murders, they might have maybe 12 murders for the year, I think. Is it 12?
You ever been to St. Vincent?
Oh, yeah. Our family in St. Vincent.
Yeah, nice place.
Yeah, I have a our family in Union Island too.
And nice place, but crime, drive by. I
Yeah.
sound like repatriated nationals, involuntarily repatriated nationals. What's it, Tommy?
I know what you're saying, but guess what?
Deportees.
There's no immunity anywhere.
Yeah, deported. They care about all the bad things that they learn from up here.
But think about this, right?
Hmm? Okay.
And we're gonna deal with this when we come back from the break. So the UN have said that August 11 is Steel Pan Day, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we honoring Steel Pan Day, right? I guess we already do that because we have panorama and we have all kind of thing, right?
Mm.
Do we really honor the pan in Trinidad and Tobago? Tommy?
I'll tell you one thing, we take it for granted.
Or do we honor the pan in Trinidad and Tobago?
Stop it here, why? When you come back, man.
Take it for granted. Yeah.
And my answer is a little lengthy. That's why I don't want to get into it right now.
All right. So, folks, let's go for a quick station identification. It's in the village of the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. It's Diana, Ansem, Tommy, and you. We're going to go for a quick break. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
I think there are two ways in which people are controlled. First of all, frighten people, and secondly, demoralize them. An educated, healthy, and confident nation is harder to govern. And I think there's an element in the thinking of some people. We don't want people to be educated, healthy, and confident because they would get out of control. The top 1% of the world's population own 80% of the world's wealth. It's incredible that people put up with it, but they're poor, they're demoralized, they're frightened, and therefore they think perhaps the safest thing to do is take orders and hope for the best.
If you collect 100 black ants and 100 fire ants and put them in a jar, nothing will happen. But if you take the jar, shake it violently, and leave it on a table, the ants will start killing each other. Red believes the black is the enemy, while black believes the red is the enemy, when the real enemy is the person who shook the jar. The same is true in society. Men versus women, black versus white, faith versus science, young versus old, etc. Before we fight each other, we must ask ourselves, who shook the jar? I'm Mark Twain, also known as Samuel Clemens.
Who shake the jar, Ansem?
We are back with you. It's in the village of the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Hello, caller. You're on WZYE 95.9 FM.
Yes. Hello, good night. My name is Pearl Williams. It's an honor to be on your program, Mr. Anselm. I'd like to say greetings on behalf of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and to my good friend, Mr. Harper, who's also online. I just love that beautiful face. I would like to formally introduce myself as a South woman, San Fernando, Gasparilla Tabaquite, a former athlete, designer, publicist, the list goes on. But I am so happy to be on this program. I've tried it in the past, but nevertheless, I'm here tonight. Now, I just heard my good friend, I call him Wall Street, indicated that there was a drive-by.
Right, we also have Diana
Son of the soil.
We also have Diana and Tommy with us. Diana and Tommy.
Yes, Diana, good night to you.
Good night. Good night.
Good night. All right. I like when you guys describe St. Vincent as a beautiful place. It is indeed a beautiful place and a peaceful place.
Yeah, I've been there. I love it.
Yes, oh my God, it's beautiful. You know. I would like to indicate, however, that my both parents are Vincent migrated to Trinidad and had this. Yes. And so we returned to St. Vincent because obviously, you know, all the estates and everything that we have to claim those estates. And being here for a number of years, I fell in love with this little place. It's unspoiled, you know, full of nature. Now, this tonight, I would like to just respond to what was just mentioned about the drive-by shooting in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. All right. No, I'm not practicing journalism being on the spot, but I do have a morning program that looks at different issues, just like my good friend here.
Right,
But what was indicated to
Paul, 1
us?
minute. Paul,
Yes.
1 minute.
Yes.
JP Harper says, you lie, you get deported. Is that true? I just read it.
No, Mr. Harper. When I came here, the geese boat had already stopped running. So no, they did not.
All right. I mean, he pays up in the chat, so I just had to read it. Go ahead.
Good one, Mr. Harper. Good one. Yes, so that was so nice. Yes, so what was told to us, actually, our prime minister out of state and was in Brussels when this incident took place. What was said to us by the commissioner of police, apparently, that a gentleman is out from St. Lucia, came to St. Vincent, and what they were told, and I'm talking about directly, apparently there was some illegal substance, whether it's drugs, marijuana, or cocaine, that probably he had sent to St. Vincent. And rather than his thugs sell and deliver the funds that they took the drugs and had a very good time. So apparently the gentleman came back and was looking for these guys for a very long time and found out where they were hanging out, and that was the situation. Now, it is so sad. It was a very sad day for us in St. Vincent, and still is, you know. We had something similar to this when we had about 5 or 6 deaths, and this was as a result of an accident which took place in the Windward area. So we've had those deaths, you know, those mass deaths. But to say that now that those lives was taken by the criminal element, it is a very sad day for us. And so we are still mourning, you know. We were also told that a child who came out of the house was just, you know, carrying out the message for his mother, that he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. So he succumbed to his injury and resulted in death. So we've had 5 murders, 5 you know, death experience, I would call it that, because, you know, it is not easy. And I sincerely hope that the quality of parenting in the entire region, you know, can change. All right. When we are not supervising and when we are not setting strong standards in our home, when we are not teaching our children to pray at mornings and what's not, to find out where they are, where they supervise, when they lack of, you know, extending love to their children and what's not, and they go outside to look for that love, you know, not being able to support, and those children would like to, you know, emulate their friends with, you know, their little gadgets, their lifestyle and that sort of thing. They somehow buy into the deals from the drug dealers, and it is so unfortunate for us in St. Vincent. You know, I believe in the entire region, St. Vincent singled out to be a praying region. You know, if you ask me, about 40% of our populations, they are all, sorry, not us, not the S, but they are, you know, Christians, and these people have their traditional belief and what's not. So on Sundays and Saturday, you have the Adventists at the church, the Baptists, you name them. These people are at church and they take their Christianity very serious. And it's time for us as women in the entire region to stop this banding. You know, this is the long time saying banding our bellies, you know, and the cemetery becoming the most popular place where all our scholars, our creative people, right now, the society is competing with the cemetery, and it is so sad to see this. All right. And if you ask me about the solution, because sometimes when we report, when we are giving information, we ask what is the conclusion to this. I believe that if we embark on young teenage parenting, which is already ongoing in my community. I live at New Fair Hall, and it's referred to as Glen, which is about 10-15 minutes from the city, And I believe if we embark on this sort of young parenting, because as you know, sometimes these young people attend these little functions and what's not, and the way, the pattern and the lifestyle now that these women are dressing half naked, they're drunk, they didn't know who they slept with on the night and what's not, and become pregnant, and these are young people. Without having the experience of parenting, we have, young folks are referred to as parent because, of course, they have gotten pregnant as a result of the unprotected sex. But are they mature enough to raise a child? That's the question. All right. And people are stigmatizing and blaming people and what's not. The subject is, right, poor parenting. That is what we are faced with. The absence of quite a lot of people, obtaining practical education, because not everyone can move forward with education, and we are talking about tertiary education. But if there is a practical option that they can capitalize on, to set up their own businesses and what's not, we know that young people are speaking about, the challenges of obtaining grants. Some of them cannot write their business plan. And sometimes the people who are writing their plan ask them for this exorbitant fees, how to have this thing done and all of that. And as a result of having this business plan, and they go out and what's not, and the officers listen to the content, the way it was delivered, the business plan and the content and the delivery is so much different. So when they try to evaluate and to say, yes, that we are going with this, sometimes it's a no. And sometimes people feel coming out of school and they go, the way that they were asked to go, or this is the protocol, or this is the process, and they go out and get turned down. Some people, and some of the young folks, I'm taking this lightly, they hit the bottle, they express with their friends that they have done what they were asked to, and there was a turn down. So, they hit the bottle, they take some drugs, the pain is so much and so severe that just, not to feel this pain and what's not, they turn to drugs. And so when they hook on this drug, then sad is our fortune here. So this is what we are faced with in St. Vincent. I'd like to commend the government. Our prime minister here, according to the Jamaicans, he's not ramping. When I came here many years ago, that we've had the NDP, which is the opposition run by Mr. Mitchell, our former prime minister. You had the Caucasian and the people, the light-skinned people holding serious offices, and people like me, whether I was educated, yes, no, does not stand a chance. But now our prime minister said the options and the opportunities are straight across the board. Just recently, we've had something close to about 500 students, are embarking on different education opportunities. And so our poor people, as some people call it, people are in poverty. Their children are now outside of St. Vincent obtaining this opportunity. And this is one of the things that I hold very close to my heart. If anyone should ask me, Pearl, what is the most important factor, in St. Vincent and Grenadines as it relates to development and that sort of thing, I would say to them that our government invested in human resources and also human development, empowerment of women. As we stand today, that we do have in our office here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, our Governor General being Ms. Susan Duggan, a former principal of the Girls High School, is now our president, our Governor General in St. Vincent and Grenadines. We also have the Minister of Culture, the former Minister of Culture was also a woman. And we also have our Speaker of the House, being Ms. Rochelle Ford, a permanent law Grenadines. The list goes on. Our Minister of Foreign Affairs is also a woman. So women is on the rise. We are practicing equality here. I'm very comfortable with the governance that I've witnessed and that I live in every day. So I'd like to say big up to our governance, being the head and the Minister of National Security and Finance, his son Camilo Gonsalve, and also Mr. Gonsalve. as a Trinidadian, I'm
right.
you that I feel very pleased.
Right.
Yes.
So,
So
I
thank you
think
so
Diana
much.
had a question. Diana, you had a question?
Yes.
Yeah. How you doing, ma'am?
I am fine, thank you.
Okay, this is in the village, and I guess you know our forum. We ask all sorts of questions in the village. I, for one, am very respective of persons' ideologies and persons' opinions and etc. I'm very and Slem and Tommy will attest to that. I'm respectful of, but sometimes I personally would not agree or sway away from what a person might say. And having been on the ground in St. Vincent, this was just before the pandemic, I usually try to engage with, let's say, the smaller businessman and woman, not the big entities. For hotel's sake, I stayed at, I can't remember the hotel, but I stayed at, it will come to me eventually, a well-established place because I was new to the island, but I sought out the small business persons. And part of my dialogue with these business persons, I asked nicely, and what is your opinion of governance in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? And the person said, well, you can't say nothing here, otherwise you'll be victimized. And these were young people that had a business. I used them for taxi, touring, etc. This was before the pandemic, right? Just before the pandemic. What do you say to a question like that, where you're telling me now that they're investing and sending young people abroad? If there is a bitter taste for Mr. Gonzalez in St. Vincent.
Yes. Can you repeat that last part?
I said, what do you say when I was told by many persons, not only the people I engaged with, the younger business people, they seem to have a bitter taste in their mouths for Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes. Now, I would like to answer that question. Like you indicated before, that people can be for and against and whatever. Now, I would like to be totally honest with you as a Trinidadian that lives here. I think I will not agree with that statement. And when you say many people and what's not, we have to first find out what is the agenda of these people. Now, as Black people, sometimes we go out, with a limited capacity of information and give our mouth liberty to speak things that we have no proof of. Are you there?
Yeah.
Now, yes.
Now,
I can recall.
Just so you know, we do.
Are you saying something? Sorry.
Yeah, we do. Hold on, we do have a guest waiting for us in the background. All right. So go ahead.
Okay. Yes, I tend to disagree with this, with that statement. I have never seen or heard people are not making mention of, their feelings, or to say that, something took place and we cannot speak. That is incorrect. Right now, there's a program called, it's on Hot 97. What does get you vexed? That is the thing. Commonly like that. People have been expressing their concern, talking about the dissatisfaction on many different issues. And that is not correct to say that people are upset and what's not. The thing is, the disrespect of the governance in St. Vincent and what's not is way past what we can even imagine, all right? And people are slowly introducing racism, and that, to me, that is on the front line right now. Each time that you hear one of our citizens speak, they talk about the Caucasian and what this man believes and what is this and what is that, If you would understand what took place with our little volcano, that the Prime Minister had gone out looking for financing. We've had some of the houses that is already constructed that some of the same people who are speaking are already in their homes. And we have to give thanks in this capacity. As you know, St. Vincent and Grenadines do not have any major industry. The fact that we've had the world food people here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, what else can they ask for? The Prime Minister is currently out of state. and it's also trying to, to obtain that sort of, should I use the friendship? And you call, what do you call that? Right? And so you're going out and looking for opportunities for your people, the limited resources that we do have in St. Vincent and Grenadines, the fact that we were not able to shut down, in a little committee like this, a little community like this. I would not even call it a country, because to me, St. Vincent is the size of Port of Spain with extension, if you ask me. All right?
They only have
and I think that
they only have 110,000 people, I think. 110,000. The population is about 110,000.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think to some extent, some of our people are so ungrateful, that it hurt my heart sometimes to see the extent that they are going. This is so distasteful and untruthful. So I cannot join with those people to say, yes, that is the case. It's not the case. Thank you very much. So Paul, I do hope I answer your question.
Yeah, so Paul, just before you go, right? JB Harper says, Paul, we need more positive visual images of ourselves in mainstream media to remove the stigma of inequality. So, Paul, what we're going to do, Paul, we're going to definitely have you back, and we could just bring you on the program so we could discuss about some of the things that are actually going on in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and maybe we could get a comparison between what's going on there and what's going on in Trinidad. And, maybe,
that's right.
Maybe it might be sort of close. So any closing words before you go?
Yes, I would really like to say to the people in the diaspora that we are undiscovered at this point, and we have so much to offer. Nature at the highest level, and we ask you to, when you are planning and was not to pay us a visit, we are expecting more people to holiday, to use tourism, so that our GDP can reflect differently, and to say that our people are very nice people, the tranquility, the breeze, the nice water and everything. I mean, I can boast as both dual citizen, both Trinidad and Tobago. I know exactly what I'm speaking about, and pay no attention to negativity. I know that at times that we do have our social issue, but let us be very truthful, and be very articulate with our discovery. And if we are making a complaint, that must be truthful. All right. I'd like to thank you so much for having me on your program. And I do hope I answered Diane's question. And it was so nice to learn that Diane came. I think Diane stayed at Sunset Shores Hotel. I think that's the hotel.
Oh, you dig up in my thing already, boy. But I ain't done with you yet, Paul. But we gonna engage though. We gonna engage on a future program. And my nickname is the Storm, eh? I just come for you. Okay, good.
Yeah. I weather the storm. Don't worry yourself.
All right. Go ahead.
We want to thank you so much. Take care. Yeah. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Let's bring
I hope you have a big umbrella.
Hold up. No. Let me do this. Hey, Dr. Mohammed, hold 2 minutes there.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something. Hold on.
Wait, I didn't send him the link. You sent him the link?
Yeah, I sent it in. Yeah, let me do something here. I'm going to try something here. Dr. Mohammed, hold on a minute. Let me see if I could get this fella. Jack Warner. We're going to call Jack Warner, Mr.
I called here ready to
call him, try to call him and see if he go pick up the phone. The phone ringing now. So folks, you calling Jack Warner. Let's see if he go pick up the phone. He might be out walking, or they say he was walking someplace today.
Hello?
Mr. Warner, good afternoon to you. You are live on WZYE 95.9 FM in the United States of America, New Jersey. How are you doing, sir?
I don't particularly like to be ambushed that way.
Well, Mr. Warner, what we normally do here, we at WZYE 95.9 FM, it's a bunch of Trinidadians in the diaspora. And what we do, we try to reach out to people in Trinidad who we think are important and just try to get 5 minutes at a time just to talk, to inform people here in the diaspora about things that are happening.
Okay.
So, Mr. Warner, we see what happened recently in Trinidad with you on the platform last night, and you were fiery, very, very fiery. It seemed like you haven't lost any of your vigor, so to speak. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. Very, very well.
So
I'm doing very well.
So, Mr. Warner, do you believe that with your re-entry into politics, it's going to make a difference with respect to this local government election here on August 14th? On August 14th?
Most definitely, I think so. If that were the case, I wouldn't have entered. I have entered the politics here because the country is going down a very, very deep abyss. It's of course at its worst point in time, and I believe that the time is right for me to enter and try to fix the country with the help of others, and to use this election as a dress rehearsal for the one in 2025.
Oh, so this is just the beginning of.
Mhm.
This is a dress rehearsal, definitely.
This is the dress rehearsal. Oh,
Yes.
okay, okay. So you are in it for the long haul.
For the long haul.
Okay. And I saw that you issued a press release today with regards to the ILP and that you have
Yes.
disbanded the ILP.
Not as yet. I said that of course we are going to meet to do just that.
What, was that a letter from the ILP or not? Or was that was that?
From the ILP.
Yeah.
That's from the General Secretary of the ILP.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Mr. Warner, you were very, 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 you were very, very poignant, so to speak, with Mr. Stuart Young, Mr. Marvin
Yes.
Gonzalez, and also a young lady by the
Yeah.
name of Julia Davy. Why did you go so hard on
Yeah.
them?
Because they have gone very hard on me, and I wanted to let them know that if it continues, I could of course be bought accordingly. I have no intention of going low in the politics, but I wanted to show those three guys that I am not of course a nitwit, and I am able to attack them as much as they have attacked me.
I have a question answer. Anyway,
We have
Mr.
another
Warner,
Diana.
this is
Go ahead, Diana.
this is Miss Benskin. How are you doing, sir? We've spoken in the past.
I'm alive. I'm alive.
All you do is tell me good morning, hello. But anyway, hello to you. Your I don't want to say troubles, but your troubles with
No,
FIFA
you can say trouble. Nothing wrong with that.
is that going to affect? You think people will look upon those troubles with FIFA negatively
Let me tell you,
and impact?
I had no troubles with FIFA. I never had. I've been there for
Okay.
30 years, and of course, we parted company. I had no trouble with the Caribbean Football Union. I've been there for 40 years, and we parted company. I had no troubles with Trinidad and Tobago Football Association. I've been there for 50 years, and we parted company. I have trouble with the U.S. government, and a country which I have never become a citizen, never even applied. And they have said that to me merely because they lost a vote for the World Cup. Now that happened 11 years ago, and the case hasn't started as yet. And when it does start, if it does at all, I have every reason to believe that I shall succeed and justice shall prevail.
That was just a question I had. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mr. Warner, do you think it's a vendetta against you by the United States of America because you didn't give them the World Cup and it went to Qatar?
Most definitely. Most definitely. I mean, and they have done everything. In fact, they have done everything possible, not only to destroy me, but to destroy the very organization of which I was a member, FIFA. And I have said to the cricket people who are now trying to embrace them that in cricket, when they don't get, not if, but when they don't get what they want, you will also destroy the cricket. I have said that to them, and I mightn't be alive then, but time will tell.
Why do people don't look at some of the things that you have done successfully in the global marketplace in Trinidad and Tobago? And, sometimes a lot of people vilify you and don't look at the things that you have done globally.
Many people look at the things I have done globally with some degree of admiration. Also, others look at it with some degree of jealousy. And I am convinced that the old saying is still alive, that people only pelt stones at trees that bear fruit.
Yep.
And when they pelt stones at me, believe it, God, I have absolutely no intention of retaliating. It does, because they don't affect me at all.
Mr. One, and looking back at things, right? Do you ever sit back in your quiet moment and say, with regards to what happened with the Soca Warriors and the decision between you and them as far as the money is concerned, do you ever look back and said that I should have done that differently?
No, I don't, because I think that what I did was correct. I can only do that if I believe what I did was not correct, but I believe what I did and what I said was correct, and therefore I moved on.
Okay. Okay. You know.
Mm.
So Mr. Warner,
All right.
I think we're not gonna we appreciate you just picking up the phone and taking the time. We promised that we was gonna keep you longer. Is there anything you want to say to people in the diaspora?
Well, I want them to see that August 14th, the PM government that is in power now shall lose the local government election, as they have lost Tobago. Having lost Tobago and then having lost Trinidad, the writing will be on the wall for 2025, when a new government shall be installed and a country shall be rescued.
So one last thing before you go, Mr. Warner. Have you ever been approached by the PNM during the years you were outside of politics?
No, I have never been approached by them, and I don't think, because I was never their friends in their best days. I couldn't see how they could approach me to become their friends in their worst days.
Mr. Warner, it's a pleasure.
And Mr. Warner, we'd like to invite you on the program in the future.
No problem. Just give me some advance notice, that's all.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Warner. Thank you so
I have no problem with that.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, man. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, Angela. Oh Lord, look who on the show. Woo.
I know why Shane didn't ask no question. He just say, there like
Yeah, boy, in front of the red house, sit down there. You ain't
the
saying nothing.
I put you on the screen. You can't say you're saying on any background. I put you on the screen. If you want to ask any question, you ask no question. How come?
Yeah, boy.
Eh?
That's not my show. It's not. Listen, I'm a political scientist. I just want to listen to what the man had to say.
I put you on the screen.
He probably can't even see why that I on the screen.
But
what? Go ahead, Tommy. You want to say something?
I'm gonna ask you a question. What do you think about the comparison of Miss Kamala Persad-Bissessar to Mr. Mandela?
Oh, you know we should ask that.
I don't agree with that.
That's
the one thing. That's the one thing that was said last night that I don't agree with.
Okay, you and I both agree on that.
That was stretching it a little too far.
You got that right.
But listen to this, I believe what Jack was trying to do is hit a home run and to become relevant again in the political landscape. And he had to come up with
the home run, though, Anselm. He did not need to hit that home run at all.
But this is me. I don't personally think Jack believes that. I don't think he believes that. I really don't think Jack believes that. But Jack
was also speaking ad lib. He wasn't speaking from a script.
You don't think so?
I think he was speaking ad lib. He wasn't speaking from a script. So
but any thinking person would know that analogy was disingenuous.
Because ain't she the one that reminds us?
I wouldn't say it was disingenuous. I would say it was quite erroneous.
Well,
she the one that reminds us that we have slave master name. Mandela never do nothing so. Never.
Like, that's a little bit. That's giving her too much credit.
And she ain't apologized yet. She ain't apologized yet. But let her keep going.
Yeah, listen, my thing is that when I heard it, I was like, Jack realized that, and not only that, but when he attacked Gonzalez and he attacked Stuart Young, because Jack knows that they're gonna make a song out of small pin, large pin, big pin, all them kind of pins that
all down pin.
Yeah, they're gonna make a song from that.
The only thing he didn't say was diaper pin, and he missed that one.
It's all kind of pin. So
while he was busy calling the different pins, I was like, "We forget the diaper pin, though."
Yeah, I don't think Jack really believes that Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar is anywhere close to Nelson Mandela.
Nah.
Not after what Jack himself has been through.
Yeah, it's not even close. But what I would say is though, Shane, Dr. Mohammed, yes, Jack have some skeletons in his closet in Trinidad. Right? We all can agree on that. Right? But on the global stage, the only reason why Jack is in the problem that he's in, let me rephrase that. One of the main reasons why Jack is in the problem that he's in is because the United States of America didn't get that World Cup. And the United States of America took that bad, harsh. They took it harsh because they want to be the soccer capital of the world. Lionel Messi is now playing soccer in the United States of America.
Which I personally find is a step down to where he was before.
But Apple, they put all kind of thing. Luis Suarez, another one of the top soccer players, is going to Inter Miami. So what they want America to be the soccer capital of the world, but it could never happen. Maybe they could be the cricket capital of the world.
But Messi could have gone to the Middle East for much more money than he was getting out of Miami.
Well, look at what is happening with Mbappe.
Yeah. And it's just crazy. And look at what Ronaldo did. Right? Ronaldo going to Saudi Arabia. I mean,
he going where the money is. He going where the money is.
Of course, that's where the money is. Yeah, this one. But I think, and Dr. Mohammed, I want to get. We like to get your opinion. And I asked him about the so-called Warriors because that is the big thing that people say. Jack take money. He didn't pay the so-called Warriors and them the money, right? And I asked him, "Do you have any regrets?" Now, one other thing he did too as well,
Hold on 1 second. Let me just correct something.
Yeah.
Vonnie, not because I wrote for the Sunshine meant that I was employed by Jack Warner. Be very mindful of that.
Okay, yeah. All right. Thanks for clearing that up. You see? I mean, yeah.
Don't make that assumption at all.
Right. Because, there's freelancers too,
That which is exactly what I was, right?
Yeah, there's freelancers. Yeah. Not because you're writing for somebody means to say that person is paying you,
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So to me, I hear some of the things that Jack did in Trinidad, but I give him the 90-10%, the 90-10. 10% of things he did bad, but there is a 90% things that he did excellent. And I am not going to hold the 10% against him and ignore the 90%. That's just
and that's the thing. Even today, this morning, I would say it again. If I were tomorrow when I'm on TV again, I'll say it. Jack returning to the UNC is something that should have never happened in the first place. In terms of he should have never left. And the minute Jack Warner left, the UNC and the partnership began its demise and its collapse into 2015. And I will say, I was one of those persons who pleaded with Mr. Warner that he should not leave the party. And knowing that his departure from the party was going to lead to an eventual collapse, because I saw it, of the structure that he was holding together. I also can tell him, and I will say this publicly, he knows this. There are not many people who are very happy within the UNC by his return, because by his return means that there's going to be structure, there's going to be organization, there's going to be discipline, there's going to be a chain of command, there are going to be persons are going to be given opportunity based on their merits, based on their abilities, based on their skill set. So if you're not bright and you're dotish and you cannot speak properly and you don't have you can't write properly, then and you can't articulate yourself in a manner that brings to the table something of substance, then eventually you're going to be eliminated. And you are also going to realize that Kamla is not going to make decisions without Jack Warner's knowledge, and therefore that is also going to step onto certain people's toes, because you want someone who is reasonable and rational thinking to be your advisor and to be able to give you the support that you need. And therefore, I can see that the UNC is going to go back to a place where there's going to be functioning of institutions, functioning structures. By all means, yesterday's production at the Center of Excellence was all Jack Warner. And it is something that I can say without a shadow of doubt, because that's the kind of person he is. He puts together a very well organized, very well structured event. And I've been around the political arena for many years to see that for myself with my own eyes. I could tell you that he also puts his money where his mouth is. That I would advise him and Gary that they need to be very careful, because 10 years is a very long time to be outside of the political party that is the UNC. And I would also say 8 years is a very long time for Gary to be outside of the UNC. And therefore, there's a level of entrenchment of political parasites within the UNC that has caused it to collapse into the demise that it is now. And therefore, there's a lot of cleaning house to be done. There's a lot of instituting of structures and procedures and processes that must be followed in order for the UNC to engender public trust and confidence in a very holistic, in a very overwhelming manner that captures the minds of people in 2025. I'm not sure that the people within the UNC right now are prepared to take that hard line.
But Dr. Mohammed, isn't it, shouldn't it be a good thing that these political minds come together, with an aspiration, and and it appears to me, I might be wrong, I know scientists, it appears to me that they're doing exactly what was done when the masses wanted to get independence from the Queen. They all came together to ameliorate themselves from the monarchy. Isn't it a good thing that they're coming together and appear to be putting country first and put aside their differences?
In theory, yes. I will say in theory, very much so. Theoretically, it makes a lot of sense. Theoretically, it is the right thing to do. Theoretically, and note my words, theoretically, they are ticking all the boxes in terms of what should be done, how it is to be done, and that sort of thing. Practically, there's something called a realpolitik that Machiavelli speaks about, and that is where the realpolitik is not just at the surface level, but as you go deeper down, what is at the different levels when you go down. And therefore, there's going to be persons that are going to give a pushback. They are going to push back. As long as there's going to be plans, and let me tell you something, yeah? The pendulum is swinging like this. The pendulum is swinging over the election very much like this, right? It started in the middle because it was 7-7, and it has started to swing. And the pendulum is swinging all the way until midnight on the 14th of August, and it's going to stop at some point in time. Where that pendulum stops, if it doesn't stop where it started, or it goes in the favor of the PNM, all hell is going to break loose in the UNC the next morning, even this very same night. 1. 2, if it also swings in favor of the UNC, there are persons believing that there is very much potential that the UNC could win. And I am saying that do not underestimate the voters and do not take them for fools. As well as you need to read your election. Not because, and I'm not note that I am going to be very cautious with my words, not because, and I'm not discrediting him, not because Jack has simply walked back into the UNC after 10 years, not because Gary has walked back into the UNC after 8 years. It means that the population is going to buy into this and just automatically go in their favor. Why? Because there are doubts. The collapse of the partnership left serious doubt in the minds of people. There were things that could have been done that would have affected the way we voted for people for that building behind me. There are institutions that could have been revamped. The public sector could have been re-engineered and restructured and re-energized. There are institutions of state that could have been redone because there was a majority that was required to get it done. And Kamala Persad-Bissessar just simply didn't have the political will. Yesterday, I listened to the speech after Jack made his, listen, with the exception of what he said about Kamala being the Mandela of local politics, which is really
laughable.
It is, for me, it is someone, and it is not impossible for anybody. You get caught up in the energy of the crowd and you get caught up, having been on a political stage before, if you are not, you get a level of excitement and a level of euphoria in that moment. And if you're not scripted, like Jack was not scripted, you look for selling points, and you believe that's a selling point, and you run with it in that moment because you want to make an impact. The truth and fact is, I may need to make an impact. Somebody else may need to make an impact with something of substance, right? Not Jack Warner, because of who he is. It's the simple thing. Like if Bastille Pandey were to mount a UNC platform tomorrow morning, he just needs to simply say, I am Pandey, and that's it. Crowd goes wild, right? There's nothing more he needs to say. Fuad is one. He just walking into a platform, stands up on a stage and say, I am Khan and I am back, and end of story. That's just how it is. You don't need a selling point. So the coming back to the thing is, I listened to Kamala's speech yesterday, and Kamala's speech was absolutely uninspiring. Why? Because she pandered to the base. You have Jack Warner and Gary Griffith at your side in a mass political meeting that you may not have seen since 2010, right? You have an opportunity to be magnanimous and to outshine and to shine more and to glitter like a diamond in the sky. And you start to pander to your base, that those of you who were here with me when everybody trounced on us and everybody bad talk us, and you have Jack Warner sitting in front of you and listening to that shit. Really? And you want people like me and Fuad and Fasant and Ramona and Michaela and Stacy and Bo and Fazal and Nan and Carolyn and Prakash, and the list goes on, to just simply take up from our seats, forget everything that we've done for the last how many years to build ourselves, and to remove that stigma of the partnership and the UNC and walk back into the UNC and say, here we are? Absolutely not.
What,
because
isn't Fuad Khan walking back in?
Oh no! I spoke to Fuad up to 2 days ago, and him and I had a very serious conversation. He said, this when he saw the advertisement and he saw people putting things out, he called me. He said, are you hearing this? I said, well, let me tell you what I am hearing. And I told him what I was hearing, and he said, but that is not true. I said, well, if I were you, I would be very careful about making any statements and going anywhere, because you may be walking into a political trap. And he said, you may very well be right. So he ain't going nowhere. Fuad doesn't agree with this piecemeal kind of politics. Fuad is a radical man. And even when as a minister, he was about making big changes in the health sector. And he's not one to pander to mediocrity. There are times when he will give in, but this is not one time he's willing to give in. And I'm very surprised that there were doubts in my mind. I will not lie. I did have doubts, but you cannot walk into something when it's like, your father is an alcoholic, and you leave the house because your father used to beat your mother, and as a young person, there's nothing you can do about it. And when you get older, you provide your mother with an opportunity to leave the house and to come and live with you, and to give her space where she will have peace of mind and not have to deal with a drunk. And she give you the option to not, she tell you, don't buy a new house to put me in, but come back home and live, and we'll make it better. And you just, after how many years of being outside, you just can't do it, because the reason for you leaving the house in the first place still exists, and the problem that you left is still there, right? And that alcoholic father that you left beating your mother and bringing and not feeding your siblings is still very much a problem, because he's not changed from being an alcoholic, but has gotten worse. So which one do you take, a young alcoholic or an old alcoholic as a father? Which either way, you still have the same trouble. So it is the same principle. You leave the bastard house to go back into a bastard house? No thanks.
But Dr. Mohammed, I'm on Khan's social media page, Facebook.
Yeah.
It says, if Jack and Gary can swallow it and move forward, who is
that is sarcasm.
I know it's sarcasm. I know it is.
That is political sarcasm in classic Fuad Khan style.
Okay. And then you did Raj G and Squirrel come back to convince Kam to join Kami and remove this government.
Yes.
But Dr. Mohammed, I sit here, I listen a lot more these days. I think it's my age. Didn't you? Isn't it? Isn't it a vote for the who are there now? If you guys don't rally behind the pending coalition,
No,
the people that
there's
you've mentioned.
no.
Mhm.
This is a local government election.
Mhm.
And whether the pendulum swings in favor of Kamala or not in favor of Kamala doesn't affect the status quo until 2025.
Okay.
And if she wins the election, Kamala is going to be on a she's become very predictable and she's going to be on a high. And what was worse than being on a high is being on a high, arrogant horse. And that is the kind of that's the animal that Jack and Gary has to deal with. If come on the 8th, on the night of the 14th of August, they do happen to flip San Fernando, which I know they have their eyes on, right? And they win the San Fernando City Corporation, which note the UNC has never won before. It is the COP that won it in 2010. They are going to be dealing with a different political animal, and one who's very arrogant, very aggressive, very loses herself in under power, right? And therefore, they are going to have to incorporate a strategy to deal with that animal. If they lose, they are going to be dealing with a house that is unsettled. People are going to call for their own heads, for Jack's head and for Gary's head, and they're going to be calling for Kamala's head most of all. I am concerned that the UNC may fall into disrepute. There will be mayhem and bacchanal, and there's going to be people making advances towards the leadership of the party. And there will be very hardcore advances that we've never seen before. The question then arises, if the UNC loses the election and there are advances towards the leadership of the party, who is entitled to that advancement? Jack has disbanded. By then, Jack would have disbanded the ILP. Gary might be minded to disband the NTA. So then you have the question as to, is Gary going to be the person to lead the UNC? The question is, would the people within the UNC allow Gary to be the person to lead the UNC? And that's a very real thing that he will have to deal with as well. Because within the party structure, there are people who have political aspirations for leadership. Now, you may have aspirations for leadership, but lack leadership qualities. And therefore, that's one thing that has to be considered. Two, there may be people who, like Gary, who has leadership capacity and leadership capabilities, but is he able to override the undermining of the institution by internal sabotage, right? And you have to also take into the current context that there are people that are going to sabotage the party because they don't want the party to win, because a win for the party means Kamala stays this, and that there's going to be a reshuffling of things, and therefore with Jack in the mix and with Gary in the mix, you may have a whole new set of political negotiations taking place, because then you're going to have Jack Warner picking up the phone and calling Fuad, calling Bo, calling Fazal, calling Prakash, calling this one, calling whoever. And he is going to have to do the bargaining to get people to come on board. And then the question that everybody's going to ask, who is the leader? Who is the prime ministerial candidate in 2025 for the United National Congress? And that is a serious question that has to be answered. Whether it is put in the public domain or it is discussed in private, which it should be kept confidential, and nothing in the UNC is kept confidential, then we have a problem. Because then you have to change the status quo, you have to change the political behavior, you have to change the political culture within the party structure within a very short period of time. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work, because for the last couple of years, from 2015 to now, it has been a free-for-all. The gate has been open. Kamala has stood up and said yesterday that the people of the children of the party has been able to succeed within the party, and she's given the children of the party opportunities to flourish and to move from local government into the parliament. And the first question I want to ask, the children of the UNC, who is the children of the UNC? And if you've given the opportunity to the children of the UNC, how come Michaela Pandey is not in the Senate at least? That's the first set of children within the UNC that should be considered for anything. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that there needs to be a political dynasty. It's the same way the PNM could embrace Brian Manning. Why can't the UNC embrace Michaela Pandey? What has Michaela Pandey done that is so atrociously bad that allows her to not be able to be included in the lineup? When you have people like Khadija Amin who just sail in, who have very little education and very little acumen to her name and can barely speak properly um, as a member of parliament, as compared to somebody like Michaela Pandey. I am not saying either that Michaela Pandey is the best thing since sliced bread, but if you're talking about the children of the UNC in that context, talk about all the children of the UNC. What happened to Stacey Rupnarain? Why did you allow Stacey Rupnarain to be discarded like a piece of copybook paper that you just tear out from a copybook from Penal and flung into a river when Stacey Rupnarain had a lucrative job with Digicel before she became a member of parliament? Why would you let somebody who was in his, I would say, twilight years in the politics destroy the budding budding career of somebody young like Stacey Ripken? Really? Would you removed Ramona Ramdale out of the house as a member of parliament for 10 years? She has had absolutely no scandals, nothing to her name, and there you've placed Ravi Ratiram, who, as fast as you say his name, the PNM goes to town with it. Why? What is the problem? What is the purpose for that? There are issues that people have right now with the mayorship of Chaguanas and the administration of the borough of Chaguanas, and yet they will say to you that the best mayor that they had within modern times was Vandana Mohit. Why would you take Vandana Mohit as the mayor of Chaguanas, where she would have gotten a chance to even enhance and develop her leadership skills at a greater level, right? And shift her into Shoguna's East and make her an MP among 19 and throw out Fazal Karim? Really? You see, as part of a transition towards moving a country forward and transforming a country, you have to marry the new with the experience. You cannot throw out all of your experience and just bring in a bunch of new people and think that I alone have the experience, so I will train these 19 people. No. It has to be a collective. It has to have respect for people's worth, respect for their qualifications, respect for their backgrounds. Both Tiwari and Winston Dukran are two of the most respected men in this country, and you discarded them? Nah, man. Come now. Better than that. So people will, it is very easy to say don't tote your vote. It's not about toting vote. It is about looking at this from a very realistic perspective. And that is what people are getting caught up with. They don't want to see the reality. And when people like me talk the way I am talking and say what I'm saying, you're toting feelings, you're carrying a bag, you're sour grapes. Me? Sour grapes? When I was in the UNC, I was Mr. Mohammed. And I was barely as educated as I am today. 10 years, more than 10 years has passed. I am now Dr. Mohammed, which I earned on my own right, which I don't carry with any level of pride on my shoulders. Because if Anselm calls me Shane, I have no issue with it. When the media calls and reporters call me Mr. Mohammed, I respond yes, nonetheless. Because as I told one of my relatives a couple of weeks ago, it is not the title that makes me. It is what is in my heart that makes me. Right? So respect me for who I am and not what I wear on my hat, right? So at the end of the day, I am simply saying, in order to move the country forward, to move it in a progressive and transformational manner, we have to deal with the ills within the system and the ills within the political party level. And if therefore the UNC cannot get its act in order, or it starts that anticipated in fighting if they don't win more than 6 seats, more than 6 corporations on the night of the 14th of August, well, then God help us. I would have felt very comfortable and very, 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 very rewarded personally by not delving into the world of politics again, by running into the UNC and forgetting that I have any dignity whatsoever. Because there's a lot of work that has to be done, and work that I don't believe that I have the patience to deal with, because I've been there before and I've seen the nonsense.
You know, Dr. Mohammed, I look at the idea that the UNC is pushing stand your ground, and let me address this first before we go. Funny Robert says, "I like to hear from Shane the good things of the UNC, and if not Kamala, then who do you think?" I think we answered that question previously.
I did. I'm not going to answer. That's why I'm not paying it any attention, to be quite honest. And then the last comment about bringing up old things. If you don't want to fix the things of the past, how in God's name are you going to go forward, though? So you're just pushing everything under the carpet and leaving it there. And I will get messages and I will get phone calls about this being a problem, that being a problem. We had a problem about this. This person don't know how to behave. This person trying to pull rank, and it's frustrating our process. So if you are win a local government election yet, if you have not won a local government election yet, and all has happened in the last 12 hours, not even 24, right? In the last 12 hours, the only thing that has happened is that Jack Warner has re-entered into the political fray. And I could hear it have fighting, it have bacchanal, it have commerce, it have this, it have that. And I simply say I'm not surprised. Why? Because you must be able to read the room. I had a conversation before I came on this evening, and the conversation was, I read that room from watching every one of those facial expressions, and not one of them were impressed by the fact that Jack mounted that campaign. Why? Because they know with Jack there's structure, with Jack there's process, with Jack there's procedure. When Jack makes a decision, he bases it off of somebody's capacity and capabilities. In all of his years as Minister of Works and Transport, did Jack Warner once complain about Stacey Rupnerine? Absolutely not. You know why? Because she was proactive, she knew his work ethic, and she made sure she made herself very much available. If it meant that they needed to be at a job site at 3 a.m., they were there. She was there. So you have to be able to adapt to the structures and strategies that Jack Warner brings to the table. And I am telling you, it is immaculate. It is absolute perfection, because that is what held the UNC together in 2010 to 2013. If there was no Jack Warner in 2010 to 2013 within the UNC, note I said the UNC, there's a difference with regard to the partnership, but within the UNC, I can tell you from a party structure, it gave it held it together very well. He held it together very well. He dealt with issues in a manner that nobody else could have dealt with as chairman of the UNC. He is the strongest chairman since Gerald Yetming, right? He is the strongest chairman of the UNC since Gerald Yetming. So I dare say that there's a lot of work out that Jack has to be to put in to get the party where he wants it to be yet again. And then he also has to manage the leadership.
So hold that thought right there. Let's go for a quick station identification. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We're with us tonight, no stranger to the village political scientist, Shane Moore. We'll be right back after the show.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Packages in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come there every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10. I have two questions, Dr. Muhammad. One, does Jack still have the energy in order to put forward what he put out 10 years ago?
I don't think. Now, I've observed Mr. Warner, and I know that COVID did a number on him, right? And I don't believe, in terms of his physical capabilities, I don't think we will look forward to seeing Jack walking anywhere for any long periods of time, and that is understandable. I mean, at 80 years old, surviving COVID is a mammoth achievement, right? Does he have the capabilities in terms of his mental capacity? Yes. Intellectual capacity? Yes. Does he have what it takes to give the party a strong footing in terms of strategy? Yes. In terms of organization? Yes. In terms of weeding out the issues within the party structure? The answer is yes. All of those things are yes, he does. But it will need more than one man to fix the problem.
Dr. Mohammed, you made reference to the snubbing of individuals by the UNC. Isn't the PNM doing the same thing by bringing in people and making them, counselors or Anslam? Is it making them counselors or giving them positions over persons who are toiling in the vineyard? Aren't they doing the same thing?
But you see, you can't. I will not support saying because them do it, we could do it too, because then it also then drives home the point that the two parties are just two separate sides of the same coin. And at some point in time, a political institution has to start employing new strategies and new tactics. And one of the things that the PNM has over the UNC is that in the years gone by, with the exception of 2023, they have closed ranks. It is very difficult to get inside of the PNM unless they believe they trust you, unless they believe that you are someone that they can be amenable to. And as the Prime Minister said a couple days ago, yes, it was a couple days ago, the Prime Minister said the PNM is open to anyone who shares in its philosophy and its vision for Trinidad and Tobago. In my mind, I asked, well, what is that vision and what is that philosophy? Maybe you can share it with us all and we will have an idea of whether we subscribe to it or not. Because as far as I'm concerned, all your philosophy is about governance, it's a tax to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And pour scorn on everybody who does not agree to what you are saying by calling them an idiot or a dunce or I don't want to hear them or they corrupt or that person shouldn't. That's all I have been hearing. So maybe if he articulates the philosophy and vision of the PNM for the governance of Trinidad and Tobago, who knows? I might be minded to say, that's something I subscribe to. I don't know if my friends that have crossed over and gone over to the PNM got that message via email or text message in terms of what the vision and philosophy for Trinidad and Tobago was. They alone could advise what would have incentivized them to cross over to the PNM, but it may not have been a small price.
You
Dr.
know,
Mohammed,
where Tommy?
we all agree that Mr. Warner brings structure and order. Do you believe that the people in the UNC at this time would be willing to allow him to do that?
No, it is very hard. It is very difficult. The UNC that I knew many, many, many years ago, which was one that believed in structure and process and graduating up the ranks by your own meritocracy and not because you brown nose the political leader, is not a party that I subscribe to and that I believe exists anymore. And therefore, to bring it back to its original moorings is not an easy task. You're going to need the help of other people who are going to say, well, to start with, it has to come from the political leader. Kamala has to say to Jack, I need you to help me to fix this road. Plain and simple.
So what we're seeing is more symbolism than function.
Correct. This is, to be honest with you, Jack, I will say, Jack and Gary has good intentions. Kamala, I remain very skeptical about. Kamala is one person that I mean, I will tell people you don't trust anybody in politics, but there has to be a certain level of give and take. And your word is your honor. And I don't believe that Kamala has held her word in the past. I don't understand. I don't think she has the capacity to hold her word in the present or in the future. What I see this is Kamala holding on to political life. Jack Warner is life support, and Gary Griffith is the IV that she needs to survive the political gauntlet.
But when I look at the political landscape, whether you like Gary Griffith or you don't like him, when you look at it, you see Gary Griffith walking all about the place.
Mhm.
I mean, to me, Gary understands that perception is reality, right? you know, forget whatever you say, and he can use that and say, well, listen, when is the last time you see the Prime Minister walking anywhere? When is the last time you see the Prime Minister in Diego Martin West walking?
But when
When
was
is
the
the
last
last
time
time
you
you see
saw?
an MP walking?
When last you saw the Prime Minister walking in Mova?
Sure.
No, I think he drive through. I think he drove through.
You had to walk. If your car walk through Mova, which is your strongest hole, then it's something wrong.
When you see last time you see Fitzgerald Hines, well, no, I think Fitzgerald Hines went up in Chumaca when the roof blew off. I think that
And
that was
he went to see us when he get his tail wet down with mud water.
when he run in the Olympics. He went in there. He do like Otto Bold and sprint out of the beacon.
But the thing about it is, you're right, and that's what I will say. They have good intentions. The both gentlemen, both fellas, have very good intentions. It is how those good intentions are going to resonate now with making, and especially where you hear him say for himself, Jack, that is, and I believe the same with Gary, that they are in it for the long haul. There's only so much you can tolerate in the next 2 years, eh? There's only so much one can tolerate in the next 2 years. And I believe that if Kamala doesn't win the local government election, which I don't see happening, there are others who are.
You don't think she'll win?
How is she going to win? She has to win San Fernando.
But listen, but wait. In certain spots, if Gary wins, she wins.
Yes, that is a point. But this is not about it. Listen, remember, this is an alliance. And whatever Gary wins, his NTA gets.
Yeah, but if she wins 6 and you wins 2, the coalition wins.
Agreed. But then you have to ask yourself, how is he? Let me tell you, and Professor Hamid Ghani, who's not a fan of mine. I mean, we have had I guess people don't like to see succession, right? But I will quote Dr. Ghani. Dr. Ghani wrote an exceptional article in the Sunday newspaper, I think it's the Sunday Guardian, where he went on to explain the difficulty that arises when it comes to the allocation of aldermen. Aldermen are allocated based on how much votes are accrued by a political party.
25% or something like that?
Correct, 25%, right?
Okay. Yeah.
There's going to be serious maths, a lot of formulas and mathematics that has to take place because of the alliance between the UNC and the NTA, as it pertains to how one person gets, which party gets an alderman, right? Now, the short answer to your question is that no, Gary winning doesn't mean that Kamala wins. Kamala must be able to show that the UNC is able to win more than 7 corporations. The 7th corporation is San Fernando. Diego Martin is NTA. Arima is NTA.
But UNC not in there, so they can't win it.
The UNC is in there by 2 seats.
UNC is competing in Diego Martin?
They are accommodating in Diego Martin. Gary has 6, and I think the UNC
so I think
has 2.
Marsha Walker and somebody else.
Correct, right? So you have to take into consideration that this is not the litmus test here. Is not that she won because of Gary. It is to see that the UNC won San Fernando as the UNC. Whether Gary went in there and walk and talk and Jack went in there and walk and talk, that does not qualify. The fact remains is that the UNC was able to win corporations, the one corporation that it has to run after, and has all candidates. It has not shared from my looking at the list of candidates, is San Fernando. Can the UNC win San Fernando? If you ask Gary, he's going to say yes. If you ask me, I'm going to say I'm not too sure about that yet, you know.
But Dr. Mohammed, I can't buy that. And here's why I can't buy that, right?
Let me ask you this. How does the NTA winning seats legitimize Kamala's Prasad Bisessa's leadership as a UNC leader?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
And that's my point. It does not.
But the coalition has the NTA with Gary Griffith and Kamala Prasad Bisessa in charge of the UNC. And they have come together. They have come together, not with one leader, but separate leaders, but they have come together under a coalition.
So you are saying it exactly. So you are saying it the exact way. There are two leaders. The NTA winning seats and getting its footing in corporations is as a result of the work of the NTA leadership, not Kamla Persad-Bissessar. The UNC winning corporations and winning seats is as a result of the leadership. It is directly linked to the leadership of Kamla Persad-Bissessar. If the UNC and the NTA collectively flips the Diego Martin Corporation, which is not impossible, right? It is unlikely, but it is not impossible. That is to the credit of the alliance, which is to the credit that shows to all of us that we were right. An alliance will cause us to break down barriers and enter into quote unquote governance because we would have won Diego Martin. That lends to the bigger framework, which is the alliance of two parties. What coming together of minds does. Does it legitimize the UNC leadership by itself? No, it does not. The UNC leadership, the people and the persons within the UNC must see the UNC on its own, by itself, as a corporation, flip San Fernando. Can the UNC flip San Fernando? On its own, it didn't. And Vonnie has made a good point. What about Philip? Philip, you cannot discount Philip because there's also people who are saying tonight on the news, people are saying in Arima that they want a different option. They want to give somebody else a chance. They want to see something new. Well, the opportunity comes where Philip comes in there. There's Gary who comes in there, right? So there's a possibility that people may vote. I am not saying that the NTA is not going to make an impact. What about if the NTA is able to flip 2 seats out of the 6 in Arima? That's a headway, but they still didn't win a corporation. It comes down to corporations, you know.
I know, but Dr. Mohammed, based on what you are on the ground in Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm looking from afar, based on what I see, Pep has 2 chances: Slim and none, and Slim left the building. I mean, I'm just being honest with you, right? And
you see, remember this: in electoral districts, it's smaller number of people voting.
No, I understand that. I fully
and
understand.
therefore 200 votes may not cause the Pep to win, but may cause them to upset a seat.
Well, right. It may not cause them to win, but it could cause the NTA to win.
Or it could cause the PNM to win.
Oh yeah. It could cause the PNM to win too as well. But
you have to see it at all. You can't see it in one direction.
No. I agree with that. But the way I look at it, if the NTA is not in San Fernando, East, right?
That's not in San Fernando City Corporation.
Whoever else.
The UNC is completely has taken all of San Fernando. So all 9 seats for San Fernando is the UNC.
So that's a 2-horse race. That's basically UNC PNM.
Yes.
And that's a difficult race for the UNC because San Fernando is very finicky when it comes to
the UNC has only been able to capture at its best, y'all. At its best in 2019, which is on the cusp of a general election in 2020, the UNC was only able to muster 3 seats. One of those critical seats, the candidate, the councillor, the sitting councillor has gone over to the PNM.
That's right.
And that sitting councillor is making waves within the PNM. And that sitting councillor can very well win Vistabella South for the PNM. So and then you're going to tell me, right? You see, what people don't like to look at, right? I had a colleague of mine had an opportunity to run in the election for a particular party. And I said to the individual, my advice is, and my motto in life is, you do not say no to any opportunity. An opportunity, when the opportunity, when an opportunity is presented to you, you don't simply say no. You weigh your options, and most likely you say yes, and you go put your best foot forward, which is exactly the advice he took. However, his winnability in the seat started at 20%. And with his knowledge of the area, his belonging to the area, his personality, his resources, his linkages, he could add all of that up and bring it to winnable, which is at 40%. The other 10%, he has to work to earn that, to cross over the 50% threshold to make it a marginal seat. You see, that particular thing, you have to work the science out, and you have to work out a mechanism as to how you're going to capture. Does the PNM or any other political party have their eyes on specific seats? The answer is yes. Do they have a strategy? Obviously. Does their strategy work? Well, it all depends on who your candidate is and what is the resources given from the party structure. The point is this: in seats that are volatile, 200 votes will make a difference. 150 votes will make a difference. 90 votes can make a difference because there are seats in San Fernando that the UNC lost by 30 and 40 votes, right? That they are saying in 2023, where there's a political deadlock, where there's no, next year is not an election. The election is not until possibly the end of 2025. Nobody feels any encouragement and inspiration to vote. There's apathy on the ground. Young people do not vote in a local government election. At its best in 2019, it was 34.34%, right? Prior to that, it was 31%. You tell me, how are you going to get more than 34% of people to vote in an election where there really is no interest? What they're singing on our platform is not discredited, you know. All of the issues that have been raised on the UNC platform by the political leader, by the NTA, by Jack Warner, cannot be taken for granted. As Jack Warner said tonight, it is the prelude to 2025. You know what many people will say? We will rock back and watch you all. We will rock back and watch and wait to see if the UNC can get its house in order. And if the UNC can't get its house in order after the 14th of August, then what is going to happen? They will say, Jack, you didn't make Kamla bowl you over, boy. Gary, Kamla take you for a little boy. Kamla had her way. It was her way or the highway. How are you all going to fix this? You think two people who just came out of their political independence, aligned themselves again with Kamala, is going to accept a defeat? And if she does get defeated, we'll say to her, don't worry, Kamala, you still have 2025 to go again. Not in God's, no, listen. I don't know what is the line that I could use tonight, but you ain't going to see that. That is not rational. But I am not disagreeing with you again, Vonnie. There are people who are the equal amount of people who are fed up with the PNM are also fed up with the UNC because they don't think Kamala has the ability to win an election, and we need to see that for what it is.
Yeah, correct.
Mr. Ramnath, it is not about me and my feeling about I don't want the coalition to work. I have seen a coalition collapse, and I know the reason why. And Tunapuna, Piako Tunapuna, has swung before, but it is very, very large. It is 16 seats. 16 seats, of which the UNC needs 9. And there's a coalition between the UNC and the NTA in there. The NTA has some very hard seats to fight. If they can muster up the people to come out and vote in their favor, then so be it. And if they flip the Tunapuna Corporation as a partnership, all's well. The same for Diego Martin. But we are talking about this does not legitimize the leadership of Kamla Prasad Bisesa. You know, because without the help, ask yourself, where would the UNC be? At 7.
Right. So, Dr. Mohammed, I think that the UNC is fighting a general election campaign and the local government election with stand your ground.
Yeah, agreed.
Stand your ground is a general election campaign. And if I was giving the UNC advice, I would tell them, I say, folks, all you see that stand your ground thing all you on?
Shut up on it.
All you have to shut up on that. All you have to stop that. Because, Dr. Mohammed, I by myself can debunk stand your ground in Trinidad all by myself.
But she stand up and she quote Exodus 22:2 last night. And say that is God's word. Right?
Yeah.
Listen. A lot of things that Kamla she does it for optics. I have said that Kamla Prasad Bisesa is a contingency leader. She's not a She's
bad.
not a transformational leader. She's also very populist, right? She's also very situational. So she's a hybrid between being a populist, a situational leader, and a contingency leader. She's all of those things. She's a hybrid of those three things. Because one, she enjoys populism. Anything to maintain her populism, she will embrace. Two, she's a situational leader. She will look at the situation first before she ascertain whether she's going to comment or not. Take, for example, isn't it ironic that the very same person that you did not vote for in the parliament as commissioner of police is sitting on your left-hand side or your right-hand side in 2023? Do you not think, had you voted in favor of Gary Griffith in 2018 or 17 or whatever it was, right? And he had been dismissed by this administration as commissioner of police. You don't think you could have go back in the parliament and make a strong call and a clarion call and say, this is what happens to people when they do their jobs the right way? No, you did not think down the road. You didn't. You know what people who listening to you now will say when you say Gary Griffith is the best commissioner of police we ever have? Will say no, the same people, because people have short-term memory. But those that remember, the same people you need to come out and vote for you, right? Will say, well, isn't you the same person who didn't vote for him? And did you not give an order to your membership, to your members in the house to not vote? Did you not do that?
Yeah. Yeah, correct
exactly.
is right. Correct is right.
So what are we doing? What are we doing? You all understand the level of mess we're in? There's more. I've given you a taste of the real politic. This is beyond what exists at the surface. You have to dig deeper. If you don't dig deeper and you don't do this rationally and you don't tear apart the thing properly and you don't analyze it holistically, then you're going to be giving people false hope and false promise. In my good conscience, right? Because of my experience in the past, my teaching of the past, my learnings of the present, do you really think that I am going to give anybody bad advice, be it the PNM, the UNC, the PEP, the Tobago People's Party, anybody, including myself? Will I ever give bad advice and go in there in a utopian manner or a euphoric manner and say, all is well, we are here to help, and then what? Get kicked? Nah, man.
But Dr. Mohammed, I mean, to me, I use Tanya Gong as an example, right? And when I hear and I don't really get on the UNC case, seriously, I just stay out of UNC. I just get on the PNM case because the PNM.
I'll tell you why we have to stay. Why I was accused on several occasions of attacking the political leader of the UNC. You know why? Because we already know what the PNM gives. We already know what the PNM gives. If we already know what the PNM gives, right? We know all about the terrible things of the PNM. We've been under the governance of the People's National Movement under Keith Rowley since 2015. We are aware. Why are we not trying to make the alternative better? If you cost the government all the time, Jack has a point. If you cost the government all the time but do nothing about it, then you are at fault. That is his role. He chose to go and help the UNC. My role as a political scientist, when I am asked by anybody to give my analysis of the scenario, would be, well, what is the opposition leader doing to improve her credibility and viability as the alternative leader and prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago in lineup for 2025? And is she prepared to make the necessary changes within her party structure and embrace and put aside differences and embrace people and do it equally, not out of convenience, but do it equally and give everybody their fair due and their respect as she wants respect? Is she prepared to do what is necessary and pick up the phone and make the calls in order to push a new agenda for the party in preparation to beating the PNM in 2025? If anybody could answer that question honestly and not give me a pack of BS answer, then I will say okay. But until I could get an answer, or not only me, anybody who is asking the same question I am asking, until an answer of not even until a substantive answer can be provided to that question, only then will people say yes. I mean, look at Fuad. People have been asking Fuad and going down to Fuad's throat on up to Sunday evening that he should show up to yesterday. Why? What did Fuad have to gain by showing up yesterday? There are other people that said to me, Shane, if I go to that meeting and Fuad come up, because I only go into that meeting to see what it is like. But if Fuad show up in that meeting, I will cuss him because you know what? He's supposed to be better than that. So the standards by which people hold you is also very important.
You know, I look at the NACTA poll. I don't know how much.
Standards by which people hold you is
I don't know how much we put in that. The NACTA
not
poll
many.
says that 70% of the people are saying they will not vote in the coming local election. There is no significant voter swing towards either major party PNM or UNC, with neither one on the required voter support ascendancy to knock out the other in any of the 7 local entities that the other currently controls. In fact, both parties are on a voter decline. Voters are turning away from both major parties. That's the same thing that you said, with respect to the PNM and the UNC. Both major parties are facing an uphill task to retain their traditional base, with some younger Indians crossing over to the PNM because they see limited political hope and opportunities in the UNC as presently constituted. They note that the political pasture is greener on the other side. There's hardly any similar ethnic crossover of voters to the UNC, with African and mixed turned off from some of the political personalities in the opposition camp. Middle of the road aligned floating voters are turned off from both major camps. Some traditional supporters of both major parties, particularly younger ones, are gravitating towards the minor parties like PEP, PDP, and NTA, and others. It is too early to tell whether the minor parties will make inroads in UNC and PNM stronghold in terms of winning seats, but they are garnering votes. The track and poll commenced 2 weeks ago, interviewing adults on contemporary issues and how they will vote on August the 14th election. Some 430 eligible voters were interviewed at random, reflecting the demographic of the population. The survey is being coordinated by Dr. Vishnu Bishram. There's a 5% margin of error in the sample that is analyzed at the 95% confidence level. They didn't really give any findings here, but I guess it's still to be done.
That's the very first time that the NACTA poll has actually provided some scientific reasoning
Yeah.
to give itself some legitimacy.
So it also says the findings also show that leaders of both major parties have extremely low approval ratings and high negative ratings. A larger percentage of PNM supporters back approve of their party leader, Dr. Rowley, than UNC supporters who approve of their party leader, Kamala Prasad Bissessa, with the PNM having greater resources and benefit that come with incumbency. It has the advantage of going into the election. It will require a major political swing to dislodge the PNM from its strongholds, and right now, that kind of swing is not in the making to benefit the opposition forces. Updating findings of party and independent candidates support in each of the several local governments will be released soon. That's the next one. So, I mean, I think it's saying a lot of things that a lot of people already know, and Bonnie Roberts said, from what I'm hearing, is that PNM most likely to be using votes to PEP. If that is so, will that benefit the UNC?
Yeah, it would. In small areas, in a local government election, in where the depending on the electoral district, it would. It is the same way, though. Um, it could very well be that the farmers that are united with the PEP could be very well be taking votes from the PNM from the UNC. So if you have one party pulling together, let's say votes from the PNM and votes from the UNC, then you may have them making an inroad. The UNC won one seat in Arima in 2019. There isn't we don't know um, it is left to be seen what happens with the NTA.
To me, NTA is a game changer, though.
Of course they are.
I think they're a game changer, and
I think in Arima it is in Arima, if I'm not mistaken, it is a 1-on-1 fight, if I'm not mistaken.
toss up.
Right. But
You know the only reason why I say that, Dr. Mohammed, is that I ain't lying. Gary Griffith is a real worker.
Mm-hmm.
He's a workhorse. And not only that, but I just see Gary Griffith putting out videos too. Gary Griffith in some WhatsApp group, and before the day done, Gary might have shared about 6 different videos.
Correct.
I don't see PNM people doing that. I don't see none of them videos for PNM. I don't see none of them things for P. You gotta go to our PNM social media page to get that. There's WhatsApp group, and these WhatsApp group, PNM people, they are joining them PNM people in it, and 95% of them drop out the group. And these are all voters, you know. I mean, these and Gary stay in the group, even when Gary was commissioner. Now Gary in our group, they have 100 and something people in one, 100 and something in the next. That's close to 300 people right there. So he's sending the video, and then some of them people go share the video to other people, and it's like, and I don't see that. Well. It's a lot of UNC people in that group too, so they will share UNC videos as well. UNC walkabout, but I don't see the PNM walkabout. I don't see.
PNM doesn't believe that they need it.
Like the PNM only sharing in PNM groups.
They probably chances are they are.
That's mind-boggling.
I have looked. If you pay attention to this young girl, Renuka Sagram Singh Suklal, Senator Sagram Singh Suklal, who is minister in the office of the Attorney General. It's all about her. Her social media page is all about what she is. As long as she's featured
on her social media page, is it?
Her social media page is all about her and whatever she does. To the point where I was, I say to myself, wow. I think it was yesterday yesterday was Monday. Yes, yesterday. A rainy day in Trinidad and Tobago. Minister Sagram Singh Suklal went to work in sneakers. So she said it was a sneakers and coffee kind of day. And I looked at it and I said, we are not about highlighting the work we do for people. We are about highlighting and profiling ourselves.
I don't know. I think what happens that the PNM is very cocky.
Yes.
They're very cocky. But I want to say that Dr. Chaos does have a sort of a, I don't know, something with Gary Griffith, because he calls Gary Griffith name quite often.
Yeah, because you see, Gary Griffith is his arch nemesis. Gary Griffith is not afraid to go head on with him. Not that Kamla Prasad Bisasa is. Farley also said to him today, he don't give a, I think in some article, some interview he gave, he said he didn't give a damn about what the Prime Minister said. So Farley has also said to him, I'm not a little boy that you could shrug off. But that is, you have to understand that Dr. Rowley has been accustomed to being a political bully. And his persona and his demeanor and how he carries himself and all of that is one that tells you that he's not a charismatic man. And if anybody tells me that Dr. Rowley has charisma, I would laugh vehemently because.
But I want you to stay right there. I hear PNM people. Well, they're trying to steal my thunder, and I'm being selfish here. Well, Dr. Rowley is a transformational leader.
That is Renuka Sagram Singh Suklal on our platform shouting that he's a transformational leader because she wants to score political points for her own survival.
But listen to this. Early in the game, I coined Farley Chavez Augustine and Watson Duke after they won the election in Tobago transformational leaders. Right? And I went on them PNM radio station And I start to see Farley and Watson Duke is transformation. All of a sudden, the PNM people, the reactive PNM people, they're not proactive enough. They can't come up with nothing for themselves, right? They're like, we ain't talking about them fellas is a Dr. Rowley's a transformational leader. You mean he's a transactional leader?
He is a transactional leader.
He is. And it's like, these people wouldn't go and look at the definition of transformational and look at the definition of transactional. For example,
he definitely is a transactional leader. That's it.
Vetted units. I'm gonna pay them extra, right, on the vetted unit. That's a transaction. You understand? You are telling them, all right, we're gonna put you in this special unit and we're gonna pay you differently than those other people. But those other people who've been working hard all their lives, we don't worry about you right now. This transaction is the transaction we want to deal with here, to deal with these people. And it's like, it is anyway. It's just now for the first time I hear you describe what type of leadership Mrs. Kamala Prasad says. I never really kind of, delved into it. But you've been in that, so you are you more. I was just dealing with, Farley, and I see the things that he have done. Watson Duke from going to 2 to 6 to 14. And Farley, when he decided that he go take Tobago people off the plantation, and the PNM in Trinidad tell people, no, you still have to dress up to come to our office. And our guy the other day, where his house burned down, right? Trying to get the license so he could go to a bank. They tell him, you don't have short pants. You can't come in here. You have to go and buy. If I was I was going to borrow somebody's dress and come in a dress. You know what I mean? Come in a dress.
You have to be radical, and I use the word radical cautiously, but you need to be able to disrupt. Nothing is wrong with disruptive leadership. Huh?
No,
disruptive leadership in a positive manner could bring around the transformation that one wants.
Absolutely.
Because it means that you are disrupting the status quo and you're bringing a different perspective altogether. That is no way in the word disruptive in no way means that you are inciting violence. But what I can say to you, that I am yet to see a leadership in this country that brings about disruptive leadership to the point where it seeks to change the status quo and the way that we do things. And the comment about whether or not I want to see the alliance between the two political parties be successful or not, that's not my call. It is not about whether I want it. And that's where people get tied up. It is not a matter of whether I want it to be successful. It is a matter of whether the people who are in it want it to be successful. I can't want it to be successful for them. They must want it to be successful for themselves. Because you are in it for a reason. You are in it for a purpose. The problem that I am saying that exists within the organization of the UNC is that people are not in it for the bigger picture. They're not in it for me and you and John down the road and Sita up the road and Leslie in San Fernando. They're not there for those things. They're not there for the fishermen and for the people who lost their jobs in Petrotrin. They're not there for people who are subjected to crime. They are in it for themselves. But that is the similarity that exists between the PNM and the UNC. People are in it for their own opportunity. And I said this a couple of weeks ago on the show, that people are shifting to the PNM because they believe it to be the most lucrative as it pertains to self-opportunity. When you put yourself before the people of Trinidad and Tobago to do their business and to conduct their affairs, you don't do it for your own opportunity. You do it to better the lives of people. And if you cannot understand that simple philosophy and that simple ideology, that servant leadership is important, disruptive leadership is important, and you don't humble yourself to do what is important to connect with the people so that they see you as a conduit of hope, then you have lost the whole idea of getting involved in politics, So it is not about whether I want the partnership or the whatever this is to be called in the future to be successful. It is for that Kamala Prasad is the first person that needs to be at the front door of success, not me. I am not the leader of the UNC. Me coming or Fuad coming or anybody else that I have called out there coming to the UNC has to be that they have seen your success or believe that there is success to happen. But nobody is going in there to buy cotton bag.
Dr. Mohammed, I want to talk a little bacchanal with you. Did you hear the bacchanal on the radio station where a person was suspended because they played a video that was supposed to be anti-PNM, and they wasn't supposed to play any video anti-PNM, and they were suspended?
Suspended from what? From
station?
work? From the
Yeah,
station?
yeah.
No,
You
I
didn't
didn't
hear
hear
that
that
bacchanal?
bacchanal.
Oh yeah. But I just get the bacchanal from down in the weeds, you know. That's did I say Wall Street? You know, the bacchanal name is Wall Street. They say Wall Street. You hear about this bacchanal in 91.9, boy? I hear this suspend Pastor Google because Pastor Google play a video that wasn't supposed to be played because the management had sent the people a letter telling them they ain't supposed to bash political leaders or councillors or something of any party. And
The lie is not of any party and any councillors. It is that they should not bad talk to PNM because that is state owned.
well, I mean,
And let me tell you this, I was very, very taken aback.
Not 91.1, no.
91.9.
Yeah, not 91.1.
Okay.
Yeah, 91.9. So that was just go ahead, Anna.
Dr. Mohammed, I was listening. With the disarray and the crime rate and the infrastructure collapsing and everything else, the crime, and with that in the backdrop, in your professional opinion, you believe that people are earnestly going to go and say, you know what, I want more of this?
But Diana, whether the UNC wins the local government election or not, they still have more of it to endure.
I hear you, but aren't they going to say, well, me honestly, I can't live like this. Something got to give. I can't live like this. No work. My young man coming out of school, he had to work. My young girl, I sending her out. I'm frightened she ain't gonna come back home. You honestly believe a sound thinking, sane individual gonna say, you know what? Yeah, I want more stress like this. Let me just either do vote or go and vote for what is going on now. Then something wrong with all in Trinidad. Then
No.
something wrong with winner.
Hi Nadia. The thing about it is not that people are not upset, People are upset. It is not that people are not frustrated. They're frustrated. But a local government election does not change the status quo.
I hear
there
you.
are many political practitioners, and that is what I have to call politicians, because they call us political scientists armchair politicians. But we know the theory and the practical in some instances. The political practitioners want people to believe that 2023's local government election is going to, in fact, give them an idea of where they stand in terms of the general elections. That is the furthest from the truth. Why? In 2010, the UNC and the partnership lost all three, marginally in some instances, Diego Martin Central, most marginal. They lost the whole of the Diego Martin, all of the Diego Martin seats, including St. Anne's East by just a few hundred votes. And I really and truly thought that Nicole Dyer in Diego Martin Central and Verna St. Rose Graves in St. Anne's East would have been able to flip those seats because of the wave of the partnership. It came down to being marginal. And then in the local government election in 2010, they were able to win the Diego Martin Regional Corporation. It comes down to electoral districts. So your question would ask, somebody may ask, well, how come they lose the seats, but they didn't lose the corporation? And it comes down to electoral districts are pockets that make up and populate the regional corporation. Some of those pockets and electoral districts may fall outside of a constituency or on the boundary of a constituency in some instances that make up the Diego Martin Regional Corporation. A general election could be used because it is general, it is bigger in scheme, to maybe, and I use the word maybe plot a local government election. But there's no evidence to support it because 2010 was an anomaly. Because by the time 2013 came around, it went from 11-3 to 9-5 in favor of the PNM. By the time 2016 came around, it came down to 8-6 in favor of the PNM. By the time 2019 came around, it was 7-7. What do I think may happen in 2023? Well, it's very, very, very possible that you could end up in a 7-7 status quo, as was done in 2019, or you may end up in an 8-6 in favor of the PNM. If anybody in the UNC and the NTA hear me say this, they will throw stones at me because they're going to say, well, what about San Fernando or Diego Martin? And I have to say, show me the evidence, show me the numbers. You can't tell me that you are measuring outcome of an election by what you get when you walk the streets of San Fernando. A man will tell you, yes, I'm going to vote. And I'm voting for you, Gary, or I'm voting for the UNC candidate, and an election day he doesn't vote. Kill the PNM dead, that house in Princestown that my parents live at, that household of people are going to be voting PNM because of our alliance to my late Aunt Amoy. You may end up with a whole household that does not vote at all. So you see where, for yourself, that people will let you think what they want you to hear, but it does not necessarily translate in votes.
But if you
have to
don't
look at
vote,
the numbers.
But if you don't vote, Dr. Mohammed, all the ills that are plaguing the nation, it's going to reach your front door eventually.
But you
And
see,
it's not going to get fixed.
The thing about it is, a local government election is not going to fix that at all. What you will have is a local government election that the UNC wins, and that Kamala stands up and now rides a wave and seeks to excite people and may, for all you know, incorporate a larger number of persons into the partnership or the alliance, whatever you want to call this thing, which will then build momentum as the case may go. Can Kamala Prasad be such a sustained momentum for 2 years? The answer to that question is no. Why? Because of everything I said to you with regard to how the UNC has to manage its political internal affairs. Now, you could very well, under this government, who is pushing local government reform, let's just say for the benefit of the discussion, the UNC wins and the NTA wins at Rima, Diego Martin, San Fernando. And we shift the goalposts from 7 to 10. So you have 10-4. You may end up with, in 6 months or a year, hearing the mayor of Diego Martin, the mayor of San Fernando, the mayor of Arima saying, we're not getting funding from central government. And they squeeze in the corporation because they out to teach the corporation a lesson, just like they want to teach the THA a lesson, because all you can vote for we, that is deception. And we will teach all your lesson by letting all you struggle for resources. That's a very real thing. So then, therefore, how does the whole concept or the whole idea that if we don't vote for the UNC and the alliance, if we don't vote for them, we are not, or we don't vote at all, we are just giving into what is happening with the PNM. The fact remains, this is local government election. If they do win, they have to do two things. One, ride the momentum wave and manage their affairs all the way to 2025. Build out a framework where they encourage more people in. Blow up Kamla Prasad Bisesa into a more magnanimous individual and ride that wave and all the internal possible sabotage that could exist and ride those horses all the way into 2025, still have to go into the parliament, still has to defend democracy. She may decide that she may be through Jack and Gary, she may have to reconfigure the 6 persons in the Senate. Tell me which of those 6 people in the Senate is going to give up the seat for the good of the nation. Which of those 6 people are going to say, you know what, Mrs. Bisasa, I have been serving since 2015. I've been serving since 2020. I understand the bigger picture. You can have my Senate seat. Which one of those 6? Let's start with Wade Mark and go down the road to Anna Roberts or Jolene John. Which one of those 6 people are going to be magnanimous enough to say, I will open my seat and give it to Jack Warner. I will open my seat and give it to Gary Griffith. I will leave my seat and give it to Fuad Khan. Who? Where? That is what is going to be required. People are going to have to become selfless when they are accustomed to living in a culture of selfish.
Problem.
Of course.
Dr. Mohammed, I know you saw this question or you saw this statement, but I read it for you. Do you think if an East Indian is to be the leader of the PNM, would they still have the support of others? I would like to hear your opinion.
They had the opportunity in 1981 and they didn't take the opportunity. They had the opportunity. The furthest any Indian person has gotten to in the PNM has been deputy political leader or chairman and acting prime minister, which is Lenny Seth and Kamaluddin Mohammed. If you could name others, by all means.
Yeah, but you know, Dr. Mohammed, I wouldn't really ask a question like that. The reason why I wouldn't ask that question is because you could say the same thing about the UNC too as well.
Mr. Warner had the opportunity and he said no.
Right? So I wouldn't, I think that whoever
I don't think it comes down. It should never come down to whether an Indian or an African leads one party.
I just think to me, I think, if an Indian is the best person, fine. If a black person is the best person, fine. And as far as I'm concerned, the PNM is not a black party because the black people suffering more under the PNM more than anything else.
And which is very strange, huh? And the black people are and to be fair to that statement, to add to that statement, Anson, PNM black people and black people across the board, but PNM people will tell you that they didn't catch the tail under Kamla Prasad Bisasa.
Correct, that's what they will say. No, they will say
exactly. And those same people will tell you as well that Jack Warner would have helped them.
And Dr. Mohammed, the PNM been in existence the longest, eh?
Yeah.
And there is more black people living below the poverty line in Trinidad and Tobago. This is facts, And that's why I like the PNM people do a little more research. And don't just listen to what Dr. Chaos says on the platform and just come and regurgitate it and throw it up on the wall, the spaghetti theory, and see what goes stick. It pains me. It really pains me. And this is the other one. Did you see my video with Faris Alwari? I sent it to you. When I asked him the 2 questions and he talked about turning on the computer. I mean, that, I was like, well, you was the Attorney General and we talking about that law. And you standing up, well, you have to turn on the computer. But we ain't turn on that computer yet, right? And then multi-dwelling. I mean, he didn't run around with Mulberry Bush, He run around Bali's house, right? He talk about multi-dwelling. If you have a multi-dwelling, that one could be residential property, one could be agricultural property, one could be commercial property, and whatever is the other category.
Mixed use.
Was that? Mixed use. Thank you, Tommy. Right? So if you have a hardware in your yard, a hardware store in your yard, that is considered to be a commercial property. I mean, anybody know that? If you have a parlor downstairs in your house, that is a commercial property. So, and your rental value is 3%, your residential will be charged 3%, and the commercial property is 5%. So that's 8%. That math's ain't difficult. You know what PNM people saying me? Telling me, hey, Wall Street he always making something up. And I'm like, boy, there's a quote that says, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Right? I just I just have to tell them that all you so, something ain't working because we can't say the PNM give you no free education no more because you had to pay all these fees, right? So it is no free education. When you have to pay a fee, the education is not free, right? So we had to stop that talk and simple things, simple things, simple things. And they just tell me because I's a Dr. Rowley hater. I hate Dr. Rowley.
But I'm a Kamala hater because I hate
Oh,
Kamala
all right,
Prasad.
all right, all right. So we have something in common.
Dr.
So we
Mohammed,
balance off the scale
Yeah, we
there.
balance
Yes,
the
yeah.
stage.
can we change hats
Tommy.
a bit?
Yeah,
I
sure.
want to know. I want to know about the Tobago debacle. What's your take on where it's going and where is it at this time?
I think it's going to it's a lot of smoke screens. I don't think that the chief secretary acted in a manner that was ill informed or ill willed or I think he did what was best, and I think he would have sought legal and political advice to ensure that what he did it rightfully. I mean, I listened to him tonight in a news report where he said. The prime minister needs to reread the constitution and reread the THA Act and the standing orders of the assembly
Who
in
said
order
that?
for him to
Who said
chief
that?
secretary, the
Fali?
chief sec, yeah.
Okay, I gotta go look for it.
He said the prime minister needs to reread the constitution, reread the THA Act, and reread the standing orders of the assembly to make sure he understands that. Fali, and that is exactly what I said the first time. I will reiterate it again because um, he would not have done something if he did and acted in a manner if he was not properly informed. And the then I saw not too long after where Hocho Charles said he was willing to mediate between the chief sec and the prime minister to bring some level of civility back to the political ground so that the country could go forward, that the THA could work with the central government and whatnot. And note that the the prime minister has gone silent on that comment and has not made any comments about that in particular, which I find to be very, very unfortunate.
Wait, let's
I saw.
Dr. Man, hold a minute. Hold that thought right there. We're going to go for a quick station identification. Let's go for a big break. And I want to welcome back one of our loyal, very loyal listeners, Hailey. Welcome back, Hailey. We hope your vacation was splendiferous and tremendiferous. We welcome you back. And when we come back, Dr. Mohammed, Nadia says, Dr. Mohammed, plenty of people said they were not going to vote because they're fed up of Rowley. When we come back, we're going to address that. Stick and stay. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We have with us political scientist Dr. Shane Mohammed, no stranger to in the village with the DAT Triplets. And for you all who didn't tune in earlier, we also had Mr. Jack Warner here in the village. Stick and stay.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. Just before we go, Hailey, Denise, Vonnie Roberts. Vonnie says Juju and Pastor Google program will no longer be happening. Really? When did you hear that? Vonnie Roberts. All right. Hailey, Denise G, Vonnie Roberts, Nadia, Rennie, Posad, if you're still there. Margaret Ganesh, Curtis Montresard, Trinidad Margot, put closing comments in chat. So, Doc, you want to address Nadia's quote?
That the people are fed up with Dr. Rowley, so they're not going to vote. I think we have to make it a little bit more balanced. I think people are not going to vote because of both sides of the political divide. They feel the very same way about each other. In fact, at least the young people, they feel the very same way about each other. And you can't blame people because you need to be inspired to vote. You need to see you bringing on two huge personalities onto a platform and pulling people together part by part. I mean, when she created the People's Partnership, yes, she went to each political party one by one. But at the end of the day, when they were presented as a whole. That is not what is happening here. And if you look at it, the MSJ said that they did not, they will never, he said never, David Abdullah said never join any alliance that the UNC is part of. And that is because, unfortunately, the UNC, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa did not act in a manner that was transformational. She did not behave in a manner that was all embracing. Towards the end of the partnership, because she draw lines in the sand and she cut off communication with people like Winston Ducaran, all because he didn't agree with her policies and he was advising her otherwise. She threw out Jack Warner. She fired Gary Griffith. And how many 20 others that she fired in her attempt to be to show a level of political integrity and to maintain her populism. And we see where populism is not something that Trinidadians are going to take lightly. Now, I want to guide you all to a movie that is due to come out soon. And I think it's very critical. I am looking forward to seeing this movie. In fact, part of my thesis, I did make reference to the lady that is the movie is named after. You need to watch the movie when it comes out, starring this lady, Helen Mirren. Helen Mirren is starring in a new movie called Mir, Meir, which talks of the story of Prime Minister Golda Meir, who was the first female Prime Minister of Israel in 1967. Everybody needs to take a look at that movie because part of my thesis, I referenced Golda Meir as one of the champions for women in leadership in the 21st century. And it is something that people should look at because it shows you a level of selflessness. And when, even though you win an election and you take a party into government, self-assessment and self-awareness tells you when you need to hand up your hat and walk away. And that's exactly what Golda Meir did when she won the election and was re-elected in 1971. So it's a very, very critical, it's a very important movie. People must watch it to understand the whole idea of self-awareness and self-reflection as political leaders. I think that's a very important thing.
And I agree with you. I remember her very vividly.
Yeah, she's a fantastic leader. I mean, the lady carried on her shoulders Israel and won an election, and the day after or the week after, she said, "I'm done." You know, and you see, Nadia, the amount of people say to you that and I can share that view with you. Equal amount of people have said to me that they're not going to vote, and that is because we have failed to inspire people to take that opportunity. People go take the 2 hours from work, but they're going home to sleep. They're going home, or they're going and run an errand, and they're going and bust a line, but they ain't going to vote. People will take the 2 hours because they're entitled legally for their 2 hours, but that don't mean they're going to vote, right?
Hey, Dr. Mohammed, please don't vote.
Do you not think in all of our, I must say this, in all of our years in politics in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, that had to be the most dotish catchline.
And stand your ground.
And let me tell you why don't vote is so ridiculous. It is a slap in the face to every single person that has found an issue and taken issue with the leadership of Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the governance of the UNC. What it is saying to people is that they're trivializing their concerns, trivializing their doubts, trivializing their reservations, trivializing their emotions, and just simply saying, come on, get a grip, you have to vote. That is a slap in the face. It is a complete and absolute slap in the face. Let me tell you something, in a different country, there'd be a no vote campaign against the UNC for that stupidness.
Yeah. And let me say welcome to my buddy. I know her. This is my good buddy in Trinidad. I think I'm guessing, George Romano. Of course, Tom, you know George Romano, right?
Yeah, he's a personal friend of mine.
Yeah. George is my good friend living there in Trinidad. So George, welcome. And he says, great program. So Very good guess. All like Dr. Mohammed. Quite informed. Nice. I don't know what
Yes,
else like
there are
that.
some people who don't, huh? There are
I,
some people who don't.
I don't know why they like I don't know why they like
For some people, Tommy, it is too real. It is too much.
Right. But Dr. Mohammed, you didn't finish answering my question, but it's all right.
No. I want to come back to your question. I think it's going to end in a stalemate. The prime minister is going to be is going. It has to know. He has to know, Tommy, that it is not going to augur well to go down a particular road because he's going to get, unless he gets Bush advice, right? Um, he has to know that the chief secretary will not act in a manner that is irresponsible or illegal. And the man did what was within his remit. And then the question is, where exactly did he expect him to put? How, I should say, how was how else was he supposed to discuss that matter, and without getting into descending into more mayhem and bacchanal in a courtroom, and then how would have given some level of credibility to the life and the words of the whistleblower? Now, everywhere now, nobody's going to touch this whistleblower. If you touch this whistleblower, you have now totally discredited the police service and the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So
But Dr.
therefore,
Mohammed,
he has done the right thing.
do you know Kamala Prasad, the assessor, put out a note on that today?
Yes, she did.
Yes, this is what she says. The frightening opposition leader, the frightening allegations of a conspiracy between rowdy agents of the PNM and the TTPS hierarchy to politically victimize and criminally charge the democratically elected members of the THA has now taken a most terrifying turn. If the attempts to murder active police witness, Mr. Akil Abdullah, is true, he must be brought into a witness protection immediately. So this is serious.
No, and I do not believe that she will be reckless to trivialize something like that and
I don't think
politicize
she.
it.
She's been kind of hitting little singles and thing lately.
Yeah, and you're very right. I'm very. You know what I like about you, Tommy? To answer him, and I like about what you all say here on this program. You don't over credit people. You're right. She been hitting singles. She not been hitting.
Singles.
She may have hit a 2 runs. She may have hit a single. But we know she within the last couple of years she's been whooping badly.
Yeah.
She ain't hit a 4 yet, and she ain't hit a boundary.
No. Super Blue singles. Everybody singles.
Yeah. And we can give credit where it's due that she has been hitting singles and she's been making runs.
And and that's what I tell people. I say, listen, if you come in the village and a person needs credit, we give them credit.
Yeah.
Don't try to discredit them.
No.
When you should be giving them credit because he's a PNM or he's a UNC.
Nah. Then you discredit the whole purpose of your show, you see, and the credibility of all of us here. But I'll tell you this: she has been doing well in the test match, but it's not enough to get rained out or to win the other team.
Yeah. She getting there slowly.
I'll tell you this: she ain't playing a hard team, She literally playing Zimbabwe.
You're being generous, Zimbabwe. You playing Netherlands. It's Netherlands.
To tell you how much years I have followed cricket, to tell you, I didn't even know Netherlands in the damn game.
Yeah, Netherlands beat the West Indies, and Scotland beat the West Indies. I said, but what is this? Like the West Indies send an E team.
Boy.
We go leave that for another day.
But I'm reading the comments and I'm telling you all, yes, Denise, we do need to have change, but we need to have the dialogue has to be one where people understand what they are to embark upon in order to get the change that we desire. We cannot have this. Politics is a game, and it's something that cannot be uncalculated. If you are uncalculated, it is one of those things that will not be kind to you if you take an uncalculated risk. Somebody else was saying something else.
He said, get rid of the PNM, vote UNC. That is not the answer citizens want.
Who said it?
Eiley.
Yeah. That is really not the citizen that the answer that people want. People want a collective change, and they want to see transformation of ideas and policies, transformational ideas and policies. And that cannot be done. I do not believe the democracy of Trinidad and Tobago is to be done in a peaceful manner in 2023 or 2025.
Dr. Mohammed, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me, sir.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Night, Dr. Mohammed.
Thank you,
Take care.
Dr. Mohammed, and a pleasant
Thank you
night
so
to you.
very much.
All right, take
We'll
care.
talk again. Take care.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, well, there we go. We leave Tommy on the screen like that. So folks, it's always a pleasure. We had and tonight we take a chance with Jack, right? We took a chance, right?
It worked out.
And it worked out. Yeah. I'm a risk taker. I like to take risks. You know what I mean? And now, Diana, you could send him a message for him to come in a week later.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he now knows that, you know, we go call him on the fly. But I like that, you know. I like to just call him and watch now.
Cold call.
It sounded like he was going to hang up there for a little short while, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I smooth him over, though.
Yeah, you soften him.
Yeah, I soften him. I gave him a full toss. I softened him up a little bit. I gave him a full toss. Yeah. But again, you know, a lot of information was shared tonight. And you know, this election is interesting. So Funny Roberts, how you know the Juju program is no longer on? I know, but all you know, Pastor Google program is no longer on. They get Pastor Google arrest.
No, because they take the call from you the other day. That's why.
Yeah, nothing to do with me. Yeah. All right, so folks, let me go to my closing comment. My closing comment is, hey, August 11 is Steel Band Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow
That's from the UN, right?
Yeah, from the UN, August 11. We go deal with that next. But look who just get your phone back. Look on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
You see, right?
Eugene.
Yeah, he just get your phone back. That your first comment for the night, you know. You know that? Mean Gene, welcome. Mean Gene, it doesn't matter what time you get back your phone, 10:14 p.m. Doesn't matter what time, once you get it.
Better late than never.
Yeah, I think his significant other must be going and sleep and forget his phone on the bureau. Let's call it that bureau, right? That's what we just call it, right? A bureau. A bureau or a bureau?
A bureau. That way
bureau. Yeah. All right, so my closing comment is run when you can, walk if you have to, crawl if you must, just never give up. From where I said this is it, the clock on the wall said that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. For every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. And remember, your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. See you. Same WZYE time, same WZYE channel. Go ahead, Tommy.
You don't measure love in time. You measure love in transformation. And that's from author Jeff Brown. Like I always say, you have to become the change that you want to see. You, the man in the mirror. You, the man in the mirror. However, if you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, do not be upset with the mirror. Again, it's been a pleasure. Don't look down on a man or a woman unless you're giving them a hand up. Love you all. See you next show.
Thank you, Tommy. Go ahead, Anna.
I just want to give time, consideration, and thoughts to Denise Plummer. That's it. Prayers are with her. Diana Benskin, auf Wiedersehen.
So Nadia says, vote PDP, but see what happens. Nadia says, vote PDP, but see what happens. Well, me Gene say he been listening from the beginning of the program. So he clarified that. He just made it known that his wife had the phone and he was listening to it, and she gave it back to him at the end of the program. Thanks for that clarification, Mean Gene. So Mean Gene says closing comments. Dr. Shane did an excellent job tonight. Thank you very much, Mean Gene. Nadia says, bless night, handsome Tommy Diana Benskin. Blessed night, Dr. Shane Mohammed. Be safe. Nadia says, good night, everyone. Blessings. Thank God for the wonderful day and night. Stay safe. Eileen says, Trinidad and Tobago coat of arms is together we aspire, together we achieve. Those words are so true and can be reality if Trinbagonians honor them and be true to the words. That's real. Yeah. Nadia said, Dr. Shane Mohammed, yes, we love you. Denise says, it's time for disruptive change. The youth and elders need inspiration to engender activism. We did it here with the civil rights and other movement. What is needed in TNT to make this a reality? We can now have dialogue. We can now have dialogue and ad nauseum. We need to act to be the change we want to see. Okay. My buddy George Romano says, very good guest, quite informed, nice program. Thank you, George. Thanks for joining us, man. All the way out in Bataria. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go out tonight with the request here by let me see, a new comment just came in. Nadia say PDP, I don't know. Yeah, Nadia say all these people name you're calling are not seeing. I think it's my phone. Yeah, it's your phone. Yeah, all them people right there. What? Good morning, SVG. Just come back again. Vote PDP, boy. Yeah?
PDP.
Yeah, boy.
Yes.
Nadia, good morning. Nadia and Paul Williams, boy. Mean Gene, I've been listening from the beginning. Mean Gene, who you voting for, boy? Now I forget to take away Mean Gene citizenship. I mean, it's Tobago citizenship, not his because he's a Tobagonian. Yeah. All right, folks, we're gonna go out tonight with Denise Plummer now leaving. So good night, folks.
They say my country so stressful, so tense. With race, hate, young jail, there too much violence. Girl, pack up and go. Leave sweet Trinbago. I tell them no way. No way. How the people small-minded, cautious and loud. Of bubble and scandal, they boastful and proud. Yet somehow I see all this foolery as window dressing. There's still a blessing. You see, I just see Jockery Q, peace, rice, and cascado. You grab and dollar, neighbor, just give me not leaving. The neighbors stay so deep and freedom don't come cheap. Where else in the world you know? Sweet fan and calypso. People just overflow 2 days in the streets. Not leaving. It's here where come see me, it's here I go there. I see a people creative who must overcome. Make magic from old steel, from rusty old drum. So why should I fear? Some tears here and there, I tell them no way. No way. Camaraderie so special, like natural instinct. They meet you by the river, Island, but my so forget New York. I know the old talk. You see, I just drink some Baba's brew, punching rum and Mountain Dew. Up later, fell out to me, my phone, me just bring me not leaving. Not leaving. The naval street so deep and freedom don't come cheap. Where else in the world you know? Jump high, then wind down low. And if you don't get on, so they watch you see read. Not leaving. Not leaving. It's here we come see me. It's here I go there. Savannah where children play. I leave it. The sorrel, the mobby back. I leave it. The corn soup, the bacon chop. I leave it. The oval seal rabbit. I leave it. The pecan, the tit for tat. I leave it. The ritual of carnival. I leave it. So catch up the bacchanal. I leave it. I wake up one morning and before I stretch, it's Friday, my doubles, my nostril don't catch. And therefore my view, an ocean so blue, I'm going nowhere. Nowhere. Hummingbirds and blackbirds that sing in the trees, Chaponia and spices that waft in the breeze, while meat by the crop, a coochie and lapping for his prey.